Hello, I'm Jamie. Welcome to Sci-Fivision Fandom Access for June 23rd. We have quite a lot tonight. We have the season finale of Widow's Bay, followed by Vampire Lestat. I'm doing this just trying to think off the top of my head. What's the third one, Jamie? Spider-Noir, and then Star City, and then you guys have House of the Dragon as well premiere this week, which I know a lot of people are waiting for. So make sure you guys stay till the end so you can hear all that. Hi, Neil. So other than that, all I will say is please make sure you like the video, subscribe to Sci-Fivision, hype it if you can. If you missed it, make sure you check out our video tab for the interviews. I put up the producers, the Jays for From, that's gone up, as well as the second part of Julia Doyle interview, who plays, of course, Sophia. And there will be more From interviews going up Monday. So make sure you check all them out. And then Thursday, we're going to have a stream. I'm not sure whether we're doing Widow's Bay or moving it so we can do a From special, because we're still trying to coordinate with some other people. But we will have something on Thursday. So make sure if you're not a member of our Discord that you join it so you can get our updated schedule. But Friday at 11 Eastern, I'm going to have my birthday party. We'll do probably some trivia too. Maybe we'll do a little bit of From stuff, but mostly I'm picking out the games we're going to do. I think it's called Murder Trivia Party or something like that. As long as we can figure it out. I got to try it out tonight. I think and figure out how to do it. But it sounds like a lot of fun, and we can play on video chat as well as everybody in the chat gets to play along with us. And I think it'll be a lot of fun to do something different. If everybody likes it, I would potentially like to start doing game nights a couple times a month. So might be setting something like that up instead of a Patreon and doing some of that. But that's only if everybody likes it. I want to know if you have fun. But this is my birthday party. I want everybody to come. So hopefully you can join us on Friday, at least for a little bit, even if you can't stay the whole time. And like I said, we'll do some From stuff too. We'll have some fun. Yeah, and that's about it. But we have a lot tonight before we ever get there. So how are you, AJ?
I'm good.
Karen is still invisible.
Yeah, she'll be here in a minute. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen. So yes, it's called, I said that, and then I don't know the exact name of it. I think it's called, hold on. It's called Murder Trivia, I think. I'll get the exact name, so I'm not telling you. Trivia Murder Party. Sorry, not Murder Trivia. Trivia Murder Party. It's a lot of fun. I was watching somebody on YouTube playing it to see if I could understand it. So I'm going to buy a pack of games so we can do it, because it sounds like it'd be really cool and something different to do. But yeah, gotta test it and figure it out, and probably should have started this more than a week in advance. But you know,
that wouldn't be us if we weren't not organized.
I know. It wouldn't be me anyway. That's for sure. But I think we'll figure it out. But
maybe one of these days we'll have our celebration.
I know. Yeah, we'll do that too with our trivia about us. I just figure we'll do like a little bit of trivia and talking and stuff beforehand, because everybody's got to like log into the website and make sure everybody's understanding it. You know, so they can join. Because once, I don't know if you can. I guess you can probably join in the middle. But again, I've never played it, so we'll find out. But gonna mess with it tonight probably. If you guys want to help me in Discord, maybe some people can help me and we'll figure it out. If you guys want to watch the finale, well, I guess if you're here now, you've probably seen the finale of Widow's Bay. I told B if people want to watch it, we'll watch it. But I guess if you're here now, you've probably seen it. So, but we've been playing putt golf in Discord. It's been fun. Kaiser and Susie and me have been messing around with it, having some fun. Maze was there last night. It was fun. All right. Well, thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. Yeah, like Clue. It's like a trivia. I just watched it, and it's like a trivia thing, but there's also like these mini games. It's kind of interesting. It sounds like it could be fun. So we'll see.
And remember, everybody, to like and subscribe.
Yes, please do subscribe to Sci-Fivision. It's appreciated. I know a lot of you have watched the producer's interview. We've got a lot of hits on that. And I appreciate those of you if you came to our premiere tonight for Julia. I know there were some people there, so I appreciate that as well. But if not, you can still stream it later. You can always stream it later. All right. Well, I guess if Karen's still not here, do you want to
Yeah,
get started?
let's start on Widow's Bane. She can jump in.
All right. What did you think of the finale of Widow's Bay?
Um, so we were told we were going to get a definitive ending. I guess we did. Um, overall, I liked the episode. Um, I really liked the stuff with Ruth and Tom because you find out that Ruth isn't this shell of a woman that we've been led to believe she is all this time. She's actually got some spunk to her, and she has a full life. We just never saw that side of her because we just see her being incompetent at work.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice. My favorite part of the episode, though, was right at the beginning when he's on the radio with Patricia and Wick, and Patricia's like, "You don't have to do this," and you hear Wick in the background, "Yes, you do."
Yeah. You
What about?
talk about. I was just going to say, you talk about Ruth being incompetent, and you even find out like the whole fact that she's coming into work, like that little bit, like there was a reason for that. Otherwise,
Yeah.
she wouldn't have been doing that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask what Karen thought because I saw she was here now,
Okay.
and then she went on mute.
There she is.
She's still muted. Karen, you're muted.
Hi, here I
There
am.
you are.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I was late. I thought, you asked me what I thought about this episode?
Yes.
I thought it was pretty good. I could be happy if this was the way the show ended and it did not get renewed. I could really be happy with this ending, I think. I felt like the story, it leaves off in a very horror movie kind of place, right? Where very often they leave off with like the pus.
Well,
like, is the monster killed? I kind of liked it. I mean, I'd be happy to see another season, but I'd be happy if we didn't get a season.
Well, we are getting a season, so
we are. But if this was going to be it, I think it's it's a good season finale, but it could have served as a series finale also if it had to.
Yes,
right.
I agree with that.
And I thought it was good. Like, I liked all that with Ruth, and it was and seeing like Tom put in this position, he admits that he really knew deep down inside, and that he lured Taurus there really because he was trying to give his son a bigger life, right? And develop this town so that his son could, like, if his son can never leave, like, give him a bigger world to live in. And it's kind of sad. And I don't know if Ruth will live or die. I think she's probably dead.
I thought so too, but a lot of people don't agree with that. So
okay.
I mean, I know that Tom was hopeful enough that he wanted the sheriff to help her get her to the hospital. But I feel like him throwing the brooch in the lake or river, the ocean, whatever the hell that is, that she was dead. That's what I got from
that. Yeah, no, I would agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's alive, but I don't expect her to be.
Yeah.
That's the way I'd look at it. I mean, look, I don't think anybody who's watching this was surprised that Evan ended up being the last descendant. I think everybody kind of had figured out that was probably going to happen.
Well, we had all suspected that, and then we were told it was Ruth. And in the back of my mind, I'm still like, there's going to be some kind of switcheroo at the end, and there was. As soon as she said she had an affair with a married man, I was like, oh shit, Tom's wife is her daughter.
Yeah, and I wasn't surprised, but I still enjoyed it, and I liked the whole, moral dilemma that Tom goes through trying to make a decision. I was a little disappointed though in him, I guess, like just because I thought that he would in the end kind of refuse to do it. But I mean, in the end he did because he found out it didn't matter. But like, I did not think that he would get as far as he did with attempting to kill her. So I was a little disappointed in him, not disappointed in the story, disappointed in the character that he wasn't making a better choice or making the choice I thought he should make. I guess I should say, not necessarily the better choice.
You know what though? I did enjoy the lead up to everything though, because after he put the pill, crushed up the pills and put them in her tea, and then she like falls asleep and he goes to like check for a pulse, and she like wakes up and scares him. It was just like, I kept thinking the whole time, I'm like, just because the doctor's report says don't mix these doesn't mean it's gonna kill her.
No, I agree. I thought the same thing. I thought she's just going to end up asleep and not dead. But obviously that changed. But yeah, I like the whole thing though when he's like, "Well, wouldn't you do this?" When he explains the trolley problem, and she's like, "No, I wouldn't do that." And actually, the way she explained it made some sense.
I agree. I don't know that I'd make the same decision as her, but I understand her. I understand her reasoning behind it, because if all those people die, that's just life.
And it was going to happen anyway.
If I move the track knowingly, then I just murdered that person. So it's an interesting way to look at things.
It is. It is. I think her needle point was a little too long to get the point across, but
that was actually funny. Can't read this part.
Yeah, no, couldn't read it. Well, there's the thing about her medicine. I guess it's a thyroid problem. I didn't know what it was. I hadn't actually read it, but yeah, I thought the same thing. Like, that doesn't mean it's deadly just because it says don't mix it. That doesn't mean that at all. So he does go to try to find what to do. I don't know, because I don't know how the medicines would actually interact. But I mean, he's kind of decided he's making this choice. He's not happy with it, but he's committed to it. And a lot of it, I mean, not a whole lot happens in this episode. It didn't bother me that not a whole lot happened, but I mean, a lot of it is more like internal struggle of what he's trying to.
It was very tense.
I'm just wondering, I don't think that there's like a whole lot story-wise to talk about, because it didn't, like I said, a whole lot didn't actually happen action-wise. Woo, clicked the wrong thing there. But it's funny when he comes in though, and she's busy on her treadmill. She doesn't even know, I don't think, about the storm at first. She's like, "Oh, you came to get me." So
she knew about the storm, but
she didn't know it was getting bad enough. I guess she should have left, or at least she didn't care enough that she should have left. Yeah, I still kind of question why they didn't just not go get her. To me, that was like an easier thing, and it kind of solved the problem on its own, but nobody wanted to do that. But we don't know what would have happened, if the storm would have kept getting worse and worse and worse. And we do got to kind of talk about it stopping when we get to that point, because there's a little confusion to me about that, and I think to a lot of people.
I wasn't confused, so I'll help.
Well, I'll explain to you what I am talking about at the end
when we get there.
Yeah. So there's a lot with the people. There's Rosemary with the people freaking out in the storm shelter because they don't really have enough food and enough water. They're afraid they're going to end up there for a week or whatever. Realistically, if it was a normal storm, they wouldn't be there that long. So I kind of question that everybody got so freaked out so fast, but I guess they had a storm like that before. And
I question it also, Jamie. They appear to have been in there for, like an hour, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
They've been in there, right? Like, based on Tom's progress with Ruth, they've been in there like maybe like an hour, and they're freaking out like they're going to die. And, many of them are tourists. And certainly would later in the episode, a guy says, "Oh, in the storm of wherever, we were in here for 5 days," right?
Yeah,
that's
which
later in the episode. Happen. Yeah, it's much later in the episode. And right now, they don't really have any reason to believe they're in the, it was a little, look, I get it. It's a short show. We have to get that action moving. But yes, B, we're talking Widow's Bay. I get that, but it did seem like they were having a giant freak out after like an hour of being in the, given that the tea, Ruth says the tea is going to take 27 minutes to brew. It gives us like a good timeline of this episode. Wow. These people have been in there less than an hour, losing their minds.
I'm actually surprised people don't also, though, if they are there, even tourists, nobody has any food with them even to have right now while they're freaking, because they're you can go a few hours or even a day or whatever without food and you're fine, but they're worried.
Given that almost nobody in America goes anywhere without a water bottle nowadays, it is kind of surprising that nobody brought a granola bar and a bottle of water to the evacuation shelter.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. But it's kind of
but it's the show.
It's funny. Yeah,
that's a nitpick.
What I was trying to figure out though is, was this episode sort of an homage to anything, because whatever it was, if it was like recalling something, I didn't recognize kind of the references or anything. Like I didn't notice anything that stood out to me. Did you guys?
What you mean?
Other than Lost, no. The old timey video.
Yeah, that I recognized, but I don't think they were giving Lost an homage. It's not a horror show.
I mean, did I see this episode calling out like the way that the boogeyman called like completely was an homage to Michael Myers? No.
Yeah.
Did I see there are little things here and there in this episode that I feel like are, call outs, and then there's Lost.
There's Lost. No, I just wondered if I missed something, because I'm not a big horror person. And I hadn't like felt or thought of really anything other than Dharma stuff. Yes, I definitely thought the Dharma stuff. This was hilarious though. Like it's got all these bite things. It actually kind of reminds me of Last of Us. But then you get down to the bottom and it's like a human bite. And poor Bashir there is looking at these things like, what the hell is going on? Like how to subdue someone. These are just great posters, aren't they? Like if you really saw that stuff in a doctor's office, I think you'd be a little.
And yet later in the episode, we understand why you might have to subdue someone down here in this shelter, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But he's there with his wife who's going to have her baby. And he is trying to leave. I can't remember. Is he talking about leaving, or he's saying the baby's coming and he says not yet, right? I'm trying to remember.
He says that's not possible. The baby's not due for 7 weeks. And the old guy goes, "Oh, I didn't realize you went to medical school." Like he's a jerk, right? Like the poor
guy. But it's like you also realize people do have babies before you expect.
No, I mean the doctor has a terrible bedside manner, of course. This guy's going to be terrified that his wife's gone into early labor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor is so unconsoling.
I'm sorry.
That's hilarious.
I can let you know, B, when I'll message her when we're done with Widow's Bay. So, oh geez, that went down wrong. So he goes to Ruth's house. We talked about this. There's the whole thing with the calendar that like he realizes she's helping this old woman every day. But that she's got a full social calendar. You kind of mentioned that, like she's active. She's not this, weak, frail woman. At least now in his eyes, she don't seem to be, and it's making it harder. Should it really make it harder for him to murder her? Not really. It shouldn't make a difference. But he's like, oh, but you're helping someone. You're being so nice.
He should have the opposite effect. Oh wow, you've had a full life. You're good to go.
Yeah, he did. I forgot that he did. You're right.
I wouldn't be surprised if she is dead. If next season, if Tom goes to Deirdre's house every day.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I had another Lost moment with this. With help Deirdre down the stairs, help Deirdre up the stairs. It reminded me of Teresa falls up the stairs, Teresa falls down the stairs.
Yeah.
When we were in the watch party, I typed into this chat. I wrote at this moment, so if Tom kills Ruth, Deirdre's life is also ruined. Like, I think he really talked himself that it would be okay to kill Ruth because she had nobody and nothing, and that she was a little old lady who sat home alone, right? And as Jamie said, pointed out, she's so active, she's so vibrant, and there are people depending on her, which Tom is getting. I just loved how this episode, it just got harder and harder for him to have to try to kill.
Well, that's what I was saying before you got here. You come to find out that Ruth isn't this frail little thing that we're led to believe by the little bit we've seen of her at work.
Not that it would be okay, but at least Tom thought there nobody would miss her and there'd be no consequences.
Yeah, and then he sees she's not. Good things come to those who wait. I feel like that was supposed to be a joke that I didn't get because I don't know. I get kind of focused.
What does it say?
Good things come to those who wait. Unless it's just him waiting for the medicine to take effect. I don't know. I just wondered if it's supposed to mean something. So yeah, he looks at the medicine. He goes back again to the don't mix these medicines, and he smashes it up, and is ready to put it, or is going to smash it up, I should say, and put it in her tea. Doesn't she help Deidre up and down and up? Isn't it back away? Let's see. It says Deidre down, help Deidre up. No, it says down then up. Sorry, Susie. It says down then up. So I love this scene though, where she's like, "Which tea do you want?" And he's like, "That one." And then she's like, "What takes this long?" And she starts making. He's like, "No, the other one." And she's like, "I'm not going to waste the tea, Tom." She's like, "We can just sit here and wait." Maybe that's what the sign means. Good things come to those who wait.
Yeah.
You're waiting. Now that I think about it, because yeah, I did enjoy that scene. Yeah, Ruth is sweet. I like Ruth. She's a cute character. All these characters in this show are enjoyable, but she was the one we really didn't.
Especially Rosemary, who was feeling very unappreciated this episode.
I know, but yeah, it's cool. So he's got to sit and wait. Meanwhile, at the bomb, or why am I calling it a bomb shelter? At the shelter,
Because it is.
I mean, it is a bomb shelter.
It was originally built as a bomb shelter.
All right, fair. Bomb shelter then. I can say that then. I don't remember where she finds this note. Do you remember where she found it?
What does it say?
If you can read this, I'm already dead.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm assuming
I remember where she saw it.
Yeah, which I mean was kind of just a joke, but I was just curious, like if there was a reason or more to it or whatever. I guess it's from somebody in the shelter before that they sacrificed, supposed to be. Yeah, so that's.
I don't remember where she found it.
Yeah, I don't know. I took the picture, but didn't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. I agree, Kelly. Everybody but the mean girls. That one girl's a bitch. Everybody else we like. So yeah, she's trying to figure out what to do with it, but more or less they're just trying to keep everybody calm, and divide the food up without people fighting over it, which yeah, they were getting a little too restless over the food. And then meanwhile, his friends are trying to tempt peer pressure to tempt him to go get high and get away from there, which we kind of figure he's going to do because he does.
Well, you know what's funny too is because he sincerely told his dad he wasn't going to disappear this time.
And I really think he meant it when he said it.
No, he did. No, you see him struggle for a second until the girl kisses him. Then he's like, "Okay, I'll go."
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, I'll forget it." Yeah. So his good streak didn't last so long. Someone had a theory that one girl is the boogeyman's assistant. I'm here for it. I kind of like that, Susie. I'm not sure that's the case, but that's kind of funny. Minerva said that Ruth is cute. I do think so. I agree. But yeah, Evan's gonna go with them. There's the other kid. And yeah, they sneak out. They find like a way out, like a back way, down into the tunnels that nobody realizes is there. And this is down into what we've before referred to as the root cellar, for lack of a better description, but the tunnels that go under the town where that chair is that they'll get to later. And then here is where the weird shit starts, where Dale goes down into the other room there. I say down. I don't think it's actually down. It's a room. I'm saying down. But goes into this other room there and sees the videos for them. And there's one that says "for you," I think. And yeah, very definitely evokes Dharma, this whole video. I don't remember exactly what the guy says, but essentially the gist of it is you have to sacrifice people for the town or whatever this thing is that's at the town when the bell tolls, and then
that's no. Is this the first video? In this first video, he's saying, he goes, so you've been chosen as an offering. Maybe you broke a law, maybe you did something bad, whatever, blah blah. But console yourself with the knowledge. I'm paraphrasing that there's a reason why you're here. And like many will live because of your sacrifice is really the gist of this. He doesn't talk about the bell and stuff until the late.
No, yeah, you're right. That's the other video. That's the for them or
this
for you.
First explaining that they're it's kind of like, but it's very much like the Dharma welcome video, right?
It is. Yeah. It is. And I kind of wonder if, as they were doing this, they were thinking that, because it definitely, I would have loved, because I know Susie said this, it would have been honest. It's like so awesome if he said that at the end, right? Like just as a joke, I could have seen it. I would have been there for that. I don't think it was going to happen, but I would have been there for it. But yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, it's like you think and try to think like if this was real, like what you would think seeing these videos. I would assume like somebody made a student movie, I think, and just think it's like this crazy shit. I don't. But then again,
Well,
you
I
live in
mean,
that
for
town.
the
It
most
would be-
part,
West
if
Bay.
you're seeing this video, you already know you're a sacrifice.
No, I
Yeah.
mean Dale seeing it, but yes,
Well,
normally
yeah.
you're already fucked at that
I mean,
point.
Dale's born and raised in Widows Bay, right? So, I mean, one thing that's interesting about this episode, by the end of this episode, you know, who knew about this? Did anybody know about this? Like Dale clearly didn't know about it. Dale like loses his shit at the end of the episode, right?
No.
Like does
That's why I think at some point we don't know. Do we know what happened to the old mayor? Because I feel like Tom was supposed to find out and never did.
yeah. In part of one of her monologue, Ruth says he disappeared.
Okay, so we don't know what
it
happened.
Sounds like the type of thing that's handed down, and it didn't get handed down to Tom.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. But yeah, it's creepy, that's for sure. But it's also really funny at the same time. Susie has a good point. Do they bring the people in from the town that are like the visitors, and bring them down to this place to get killed? I don't know. And I kind of feel like maybe not, but it would be funny if they did. But then again, this town I don't think has visitors like before. Like this is a new thing, right? That these people are coming in.
I'm sure they've had visitors before, but it makes more sense to have it be a local, simply because the locals aware in the first place.
So maybe they'd understand the sacrifice a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like over time, you know, the whole thing has kind of softened as time has gone on and everything. You know, generations don't tell the next generation, and then less and less people know. And I mean, hell, you can tell some of the locals they believe in all this the spooky stuff, sort of. You know, not like to the extent of Wick. Wick is probably one of the last remaining people that truly, full-heartedly from the start, you know, believes in this stuff.
It's hard to say. Like this guy looking at his tie, like this feels like a 1960s kind of, maybe 50s kind of video to me. Wick, Ruth, anyone around their age would have been alive at this time. But yeah, it's not clear if only like a core group of like town people knew about it. Did the whole town know about it? Like Ruth seems to have not known about it. Like during this episode, she tells Tom so many weirdo things that Tom's like, wait, what? Never mind. She says all of these strange things, right? And she seems to never have put two and two together. But Ruth's attitude is very much like, look, that's like, if Ruth knew the whole town was haunted and cursed and whatever, Ruth seems to have a very much like, look, that's life and you can't do anything about it kind of attitude. So maybe she doesn't let this curse get her down.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about the fact Ruth does say about a lot of different people dying. So like they might have been people that were sacrificed she didn't know about. Because that's sorry, go ahead.
Like when she says when Tom mentions the trolley, well, I should not get ahead of myself to that part. But when Tom talks about the trolley problem, and she says, oh, you mean in 42 when we tried to build a trolley and all the workers disappeared? Like, oh, maybe they just offered all those work. Maybe that was a year of an offering.
Or maybe that was down in the tunnels. They got stuck like in the connecting tunnel or something and it ate them.
I don't think it does that except in the years when it demands an offering and then it's asleep for years or decades in between.
That was kind of my question. Like, have they been sacrificing them all along, or is it not an all the time thing? Because that part has been very unclear to me.
I don't think it's an every year thing. It's however many. There's probably like a year, you know, a couple of years.
I think it could be decades or not.
Yeah. It's clearly been. I mean, you figure Evan is what, 16?
Yeah.
So
it's been at least that long.
I guess. You know,
because Tom's been in Widow's Bay for probably close to 20 years.
Yeah, I guess.
So maybe it's every 50 years.
I guess my point is that we don't know that the previous mayors hadn't been sacrificing people because they wouldn't necessarily know about it.
Well,
That's
I
why
mean,
Ruth mentioned quite a few people that disappeared or got killed or something when she was giving her long
people
story.
could just disappear and die, and it could also just, I mean, people do disappear and die sometimes, right? And it's not a curse, it just happens.
Right.
But I mean, I think it's irregular. And you know, at near the end of the episode in the later video, this guy says, let's hope it's a good long sleep this time.
Yeah.
It's irregular. There's no talk at all in this season where Wick says, "Oh, it's been 20 years. It's time. Oh, it's a regular cycle. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that." Right?
Well, that's the thing. Wick doesn't know specifically, but Susie brings up they do say whenever the bell tolls.
Right, but it doesn't. But right, yes, that's correct. But it doesn't. It's random.
It doesn't have to be. It's not a set. Yeah, it's not a set number of years. But it's been, like I say, it's been at least 20 years since the last one.
Plus, Tom spent every summer there as a kid. That's how he met and fell in love with Lauren, right? So he maybe
I guess my point is just you're making an assumption that no sacrifices have been made in the meantime, because they could have been and they could not notice because they could think people died.
But to me, you're making an assumption that sacrifices have happened in the meantime.
I know, and that's why I'm saying I wish they had been more clear about that.
Oh, I'm glad they weren't more clear. I don't need everything. I think sometimes I think getting for me, I've said this before, I don't need an answer to everything. There are some answers I need and there are some I don't need, and sometimes I think too many answers could like ruin the
water it down.
Right? So but we all have different things we need answered. And so that's a thing that bothers Jamie and probably other people, and it doesn't bother me and AJ and probably other people.
But to be fair, it did give you a sort of answer because he says hopefully it's this time a good long sleep. So I think it's erratic. I don't think there's a set number of years.
I don't know, but either way, we don't get a whole lot. Excuse me, yet, because it does. The rest of it is in the other video.
Yeah.
As I say, hi Minerva, Susie. Who else there? Just me. Welcome, guys. He's been there. Muncher Luncher. Hello, guys. Dieter's there. Hello.
Dieter.
All right. So yeah, a lot of it is their conversation. Some of this we sort of talked about. We've just not really gone totally in order. But a lot of it is Ruth. Hey, Kimberly. A lot of it is Ruth, you know, telling him about her family, and it's making it harder for him because she's being so friendly, and you know he's struggling with it, and it slowly kind of reveals her growing up. He got bit by an animal and then turned into that animal. Excuse me.
Yeah, right? That's a weird thing.
And she's so nonchalant about it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Something I forgot.
She's like, oh, I miss him. I loved him so much. Oh, he was such a great guy. He got bit by an animal and turned into that animal.
Yeah.
And she just she moves along, and Tom's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I think she mentions other people who disappeared, and then intermittently she's like, oh, he made a pass. Oh, he made a pass. She made a pass. Like everybody in this photo.
Yeah, and he's like, tell me the pastor didn't. She's like, no, he didn't. Oh, wait, now that you mention it, he did. She did too.
Even the priest did, right? That priest we saw at the beginning.
This is so, I loved how this was so kind of poignant as Tom is like coming to finally see Ruth as a person in the moments where he's ready to kill her. But then also like, she's just saying all this hilarious shit all throughout it.
Yeah.
It's sad and like hilarious at the same time.
It is. And then there's the thing about, we talked about the trolley problem, which is basically her saying, like you said earlier, she looks at it as it's life. They were going to die anyway. But if I make a choice to save them and kill somebody else, then I killed somebody, which I do think that was an interesting way to look at it. I never would have looked at it that way. So it was interesting to hear that.
It was interesting. Like I've heard the trolley problem like described different ways before, and sometimes I hear the trolley problem like you can save all those people, but you have to. It's going to kill one baby. Sometimes I've heard it right. Like the moral dilemma is that I've just heard it explained differently in different shows. Like you can like 5 people are going to get killed, and you can divert it where it will kill one baby. Or I think I've heard it like it will kill like, I don't know. Like sometimes I've just heard people try to make it even more
Yeah. Well, the point is the many versus the few, and how much is somebody's life worth? And I mean, that's the whole point of the dilemma.
Yep.
See, here's my thing. You could say put any one type of person that I have to divert it to. I'm going to save the many as opposed to the one. Now there's a caveat to that. If you say, okay, 100 people are going to die, but if you turn the trolley to this track, one dog dies. Guess those 100 people are fucking dying.
Well, if it's Jamie at the handle, yeah,
might be the case. I think the other caveat is it also depends who that one person is. Like, because it's interesting to me because that this trolley problem, like she says that it's life, but really it's also what Tom is thinking right now, obviously about killing her, but it becomes about killing Evan because it really quickly he realizes if that one person is his son, suddenly he's willing to let everybody else die.
Yes.
Which I think is that's a big caveat, I think, of who that person is and whether
I agree.
Sacrifice them.
I kind of really like Ruth's explanation, which is essentially I don't get to choose who lives and dies, right? Like the minute I choose, I become a killer. Like she didn't start the trolley, she didn't push the trolley. It's just sorry, bad shit is happening to these people. But the minute she chooses, she becomes the killer, right? Which essentially is what Tom has done, right? Tom's like, oh, I'm going to kill one to save the many, but Tom is going to actually physically kill her and become it's not even like just diverting the trolley and flipping a switch, which might make it easier, but Tom has poisoned her and he later considers like smothering her with the pillow, right?
Yeah. I feel like not getting her from the storm is the letting, not the murder. That's the easier way, the easier route, but you're right. He's actually becoming the murderer, but
so I'm gonna can I throw this here? Minerva says, I definitely have to rewatch Widow's Bay. I feel as though I missed a lot. Minerva, I need to rewatch it because you guys might recall that I didn't really love it that much for the first few episodes. And I didn't.
That's right, you didn't. I forgot.
And I didn't think it was funny. People were like, this is hilarious. And I'm like, it's not a dark comedy. What are you talking about? It's not funny. Comedy's not funny. I hate comedy. And then like it grew on me episode by episode. And I think I really want to go back and rewatch it and try to appreciate the first few episodes better.
Yeah. It's a good show. That's why I never got you didn't like it, but all like different things. But it's so funny. I love the show. All right, so here's where she's
hilarious.
Yeah.
Who would needlepoint that much? Who would make that much of a quote in needlepoint?
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah,
I love the part like I can't read that. And I'll just get to the answer.
Yeah, it's Tennessee Williams apparently because I can read that at the bottom.
Well, she says Tennessee Williams too.
No, I know, but I didn't remember. I'm saying.
And the quote is like, "We live inside, like life is a house on fire, and we have to always be rescuing love," or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I can look it up real quick while we talk a little bit.
The world is violent and mercurial. It will have its way with love. We are saved only by love for each other, and the love that we pay.
Love. That's
I can't read all of it. It gets smaller and smaller, so it's hard to. But yeah.
The point is, it's all about love.
It is.
Every fucking show we watch is about love.
It says, we live in a perpetually burning building, and what we must save from it all the time is love.
So more love.
Yeah.
Good summary there, AJ. All right, so she tells him about the brooch. We recognize it. We know. And he recognizes it, right? I think he does.
And I love that. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Jamie. I apologize.
No, I just said it feels like it's been so long since I've seen it. I'm not remembering details. Go ahead.
Well, I feel like, I felt like Tom was starting to weaken. Like Ruth is like, she has a different spin on the trolley. She's talking about love and life. And I felt like Tom was weakening. And then when he saw that brooch, he was like, oh, the curse. Yes. Okay. Like it snaps him back into his mission, I thought.
Interesting.
Yeah. I kind of felt that too.
No, yeah, he's ready to do it. That's why I said I was a little disappointed that he got as far as he did, but
yeah,
he's determined. And then he looks over to at Evan, and he's like, you know, thinking about his son. So he does smash it up. And she's drinking some of it. And then we go back to the craziness in the shelter of the many that are going to die if he doesn't do something. And I guess, or at least my thoughts are, if he doesn't do it or they don't kill somebody, the storm will keep getting worse until probably more people die. At least that is my assumption. They don't actually say that, but I mean, since the storm stops, I want to know, what I want to know is at the beginning, like when the priest heard the bells, how many times the bell rang. That is part of what I want to know, because it's a life for a life. And part of what I was saying earlier, AJ, when I was saying I was a little confused, is I'm not sure what all counts. Like, is it only people sacrificed in that room? If Ruth does die, did she count as a sacrifice? Like
No,
that
it's got to be that room. It's got to be the room, because other people have died since this whole thing started.
Right, but maybe not, like maybe not sacrificed. Like if Ruth dies, she still was sacrificed. But I don't know if that thing counts.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a sacrifice by being sent to that room.
Yeah. So yeah, they're freaking out. And
Well,
like,
yeah, there's a point. Have we seen it already, or is it yet to come? Where I think it's Rosemary says, "Oh, the person who had my job before me told me never to go into this room."
oh, and then she lets Dale go in there. Yeah.
And someone says, "Really?
No,
why?"
she said never.
She's
Yeah,
like, "I have
no,
no idea.
never. Not even never to go into the room. Never go to the shelter.
Never go to the shelter." Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Never
I
to
was
the
thinking
shelter.
the shelter. The priest died, so did that count? He purposely did that because he knew. I don't know, because see, that's exactly like I thought that was also maybe a sacrifice, but it.
I
No,
don't know.
he
If
told-
you kill yourself, then the island doesn't get to kill you, so maybe it doesn't count.
No, that doesn't.
I know.
I think the only thing that counts is a sacrifice in that room.
I guess, but it could still like
Other
throw
people
it-
have died. Like we've had many people die this season, and it didn't stop anything. Not
No.
until that guy got sacrificed in the room did it stop.
But that's why I'm also saying how many times, because that would
Well,
tell us how many people had to die.
How many times the bell tolls doesn't mean how many people. It's just the bell tolls 8 times.
No, it
No,
said they say
they
there's
said
one.
People.
That is said in the video, right? One soul for each toll.
Is that what
Yeah.
they said? I thought it said. I misunderstood it
I
then.
don't know.
I think
And
it needs to
this
be one person for each bell, each toll the bell.
Yeah, and this is what Jen's saying. This is the other thing I was confused about when we had this discussion too. Like it was okay. It was 9. That part I didn't remember. But that at the end, it's 8 tolls, so it's like one less because they killed one person. But that's kind of my question too: is how long do they have? Like, is it just it continues and they have that like a long time to kill those people, or is that like that many new people they have to kill? I don't I agree with you. I don't know that I need to know these details. I'm just curious and would like to know more of exactly what the rules are. Do I need to know? Maybe not.
I think the people in Widow's Bay don't know the rules. Therefore, you will not get to know the rules either.
Fair enough.
True.
Well,
Yeah, unknown and ambiguous. That's the answer.
I thought the 8 bell. Well, we'll talk about that, but I believe it is said in the video that there needs to be the number of tolls of the bell is how many sacrifices there need to be.
Yeah, no, that it definitely says, because I remember that.
And Jamie, in terms of they have a long time, they have unlimited time. But if you don't do it, then the curse keeps like
getting worse until you do
getting worse, right? Yeah.
But I my point is, I guess they kill one and then it gives them time. Like it isn't like they have to do all of them at once, I guess.
I think
because obviously in the video they're like hurting multiple people.
I think if they did it all at once, then they'd be done. I'm assuming, right? But there's no reason to think that you can't do them all at once.
Right, but I'm saying
you could probably do it all at once. But I really think it's got to be in the room, because if there was 9 tolls in the beginning and now there's 8, well, only one person died in that room.
Oh, so you think those 8 are like Tom, that like they killed one person in that room, and that's 8 more to go for like next season?
Yes.
Oh, you guys are so smart. I think that's right. I never thought of that.
But that makes it more sound like there's a total, like it only needs 8 period and then it's done, which I don't think
it needed 9. Now it's -1. Now it still needs 8.
Yeah,
right.
So I guess it gives them so much time.
So but to I get where Jamie's going with it. To get to that 8, or you have to, after you get to the end of the 8, then it goes to sleep for a while. It could go to sleep for a year. It could go to sleep for 10 years.
That makes more sense.
And then it starts over again.
Yeah. So it's still in their interest to do it quicker, because otherwise you would think, why wouldn't you just stretch it out? So yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's your interest to do it quickly so you don't have the boogeyman and the sea hag and the haunted cocktail party and things like that happening.
Yeah, I feel like these are like all the side effects of not doing what you're told type sort of thing, which I hadn't really thought of now as I'm discussing it. They're all the things that are let loose. But Bashir here, he's just trying to save his baby.
Poor Mrs. Bashir.
Yeah, Mrs. Bashir. I don't know what her name is. I forget. Shell.
I think it's Shell. Shell, right?
Hell.
Yeah. So yeah, there's Rosemary again. I forget that. I think that's where she says they said never to even come down in the shoulder, and she went down obviously. And then
she goes, yeah. She goes, I did a genealogy report on Ruth, and then the three of them went and had their little meeting. I wasn't included in that.
I don't think you want to be. Well, I don't know. She probably wouldn't care. The way she is, she'd probably be like, eh.
Yeah, but she also doesn't know what the conversation's about. You know what I mean? And not for nothing, I feel like Rosemary would be very pragmatic and be like, well, yeah, we got to kill her. You know, I could totally see Rosemary being like...
She'd be more like Wick, yeah.
Or I could... Actually, you know what I could see? I could see, like, at the end of the at the end of the show, I could see, you know, everything coming to a head and everybody kind of standing around being like, what the fuck? And have Rosemary being like, didn't any of you know about this? Like she's known all along.
I could see that. I could totally see that. That's funny. I bet they'll do that. I could see that. Susie said, I was wondering that too. If they weren't like in the basement, do they not count, or do they have to be specifically intended as a sacrifice? What are the rules? Yeah. I don't know. I agree with you though. Will we ever know exactly? Probably not, unless it's them discovering.
I think it's kind of obvious. Like I said, you got 9 tolls. One person died in that room. Now you have 8 tolls.
I mean, I can see maybe in season 2, Tom and or other characters trying to find these movies and put them together in a coherent manner to learn the rules, right?
Yeah.
Much like Lost, actually. Much like Lost, where there were all these films popping up. But I can
gotta watch that again.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder though if the priest didn't know about the videos, because it, to me, the way I'm looking at it,
he was investigating it, but I don't think he already knew.
Right. But I mean, I don't think he ever found the videos or knew where they at, because I'm saying that and I'm thinking about the fact that, like, yes, he killed himself partially probably because he was horrified by what they had been doing or what he thought they had to do, whatever. But like, if he was going to kill himself, if he knew about the room, I feel like he would have went down into the room to help them rather than just.
But Jamie, I don't think he knew anything. You seem to forget he was on a mushroom trip.
No, he definitely knew about the bells, because that's why he got went to find out about the bells and had the paper about in the rectory that said if the bell tolls, you got to do this. So he knew part of it. I just don't think
he knew pieces, and then he went on a mushroom trip and killed himself.
I guess. I guess my point is just, if he was going to, like, a priest is not generally going to kill themselves. Like, if he was going to do that, why wouldn't he go down in that room?
It had nothing to do with being a priest.
Because
he was a terrified person.
He was, but I'm just saying, generally, somebody who's
you're making an assumption. Jamie, you're making an assumption that volunteering yourself counts. Is it a sacrifice? If you're not, they're not called sacrifices. They're called offerings. The guy in the video calls it an offering. And if you kill yourself, I don't know if that counts. Just like I think if you get killed by the boogeyman, it doesn't count. And if you
it's got to be in that room.
Sea hag, it doesn't count, right?
Right, because as an offering, you're being offered. The beast inside that room is eating you. That's an offering.
Right, but I would think somebody could offer themselves too, and it would still count.
Well, apparently not.
If in that room, but I don't think that the priest knew much about anything. Again,
that was what I was getting at.
On a mushroom trip.
Like, usually, a priest isn't going to do that. That's all I'm saying. I don't think he knew the whole extent.
That's what they used to tell us. Like when I was in 7th grade, I had to take like a semester of like drug education class, just say no class, right? And they used to tell you like, oh, if you do mushrooms, you'll kill yourself. If you do PCP, you might kill someone or kill yourself or whatever. If you take mushrooms, you might. We were always told that we would kill ourselves if we took drugs.
What I remember is the songs that we had. We had to learn this song. I don't remember if it was a play or what it was, but it was like, we are the drug-free class of 2000. That was what we had. I remember that. Like, I remember half of the lyrics to that thing that we had to memorize, which is hilarious. But so he does, I don't think I have a picture of it, but I think that's where Patty finally admits to him what's going on. Like, we don't see it, it's kind of off camera, but she's telling him where Tom is. So he is, taking it into his own hands, and he's like, don't let anybody in this room. And then he takes it off.
You know what was really creepy was when the doctor was humming Phantom of the Opera. I was like,
yeah.
Like, why is this doctor humming Phantom? What is going on here?
Yeah, I'm not sure how Phantom ties in, other than it was funny. Excuse me. So then we go back to Ruth and Tom, and she does start to fall asleep, and he thinks she's dead, but she's not. She's just snoozing.
Well, he thinks she's dead. He begins to
We all
apologize.
remember that one Dare song. Was it not just our school then? I just remember having.
I didn't.
We had some kind of performance or something. I don't even remember.
I'm older than you. We didn't have that one.
No, I know. That's what I said. I know. I just remember it was like, we are the drug-free class of.
Tom seems to think maybe she's gone. He says, you're a good person. You didn't deserve this. And he's like apologizing to her. And then she's like, where was I?
Mm-hmm.
And, it gives a little jump scare in there.
Mm-hmm. And then we have this group of teens, which are like the stupidest kids, right? I mean, who even does that? Like, kids, dumb teenagers, right?
Oh, every kid in every horror movie ever.
Yeah, I know. Dumb teenagers hooking themselves.
I love.
Like,
I forget if I think it's a car commercial. Or no, it's a Geico commercial. When you see a group of teenagers and they're like, "Hey, let's get away from the chainsaw wielding guy."
There's that one with knives or whatever.
They're like, let's get in that running car. What are you, crazy? Let's go hide behind the chainsaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of a horror trope. There's always that one, the girl whose name I forget. This girl is a terrible influence on Evan, and she's that teenager in every horror movie who doesn't take danger seriously and is like, let's go down in the creepy room and check it out. You guys are chicken. Let's go down here, right? She's that. Yeah. I thought she might get killed. I was surprised these kids all made it out. Honestly.
Yeah, they are dumb. Minerva said, I think the priest learned something about the curse and decided to sacrifice himself. See, that's why I'm saying I think that might sacrifice himself. I just think that he didn't understand that it wouldn't work, is what I'm saying. Like, I think he didn't have enough information.
I think you're making an assumption. I actually thought that he knew more and that he...
I think he's just terrified and killed himself.
He killed himself out of guilt for not, telling people sooner.
Maybe. I think he died. I think he did it out of fear.
Okay, but none of us know. None of us know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we'll never know.
You know what we do know, though? You know what we do know? He was on a fucking mushroom trip, so.
Yes, and we'll never know because he's dead and he's not going to come back to life.
And it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's more of the crowd getting upset. Here's the For You video, and the people are being sacrificed.
Okay, so this is very strange to me. Why do they have to be in their underwear and their heads back? Their heads back. Why? What? But no, I'm serious. Why? Any thoughts on why they would have to be in their underwear and have their heads covered?
I don't know. That's why I said unless it's just meant to be like a creepy horror trope. I don't know.
Yeah, ritualistic. I don't know. Maybe those things we don't learn.
I mean, if it was just women, I'd say maybe they're sacrificing the virgins or something. But they're clearly not. I
that
don't
guy's
know.
a virgin.
Men can be virgins.
Why does it have to be a woman?
No, I know. I said if it was all women, I'd say that. Not
why men can be virgins. You can.
Men can be virgins.
That's a good point.
We're not born sexually active.
You're missing my point. My point is that if they showed it as all women in their underwear, I would assume that's the trope that they were going for, of they have to sacrifice the virgins. Not that men can't be virgins, but I'm just saying I think that they're not. That's not what they're insinuating. Was my point with all that. I know what I'm talking about.
It's to taste their flesh.
Yeah, I was just gonna point that out too. That Jen's got it.
Also, going back a bit, Jen commented, I thought PJ was about those teenagers. I thought PJ was a goner. Now I think PJ is the kid of someone in the cult that sacrifices people to the island. Interesting. like the cult of people in the know who manage this process every however often.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Or
he's like, it's to make it creepy.
The underwear, yeah. I mean, they're chained to the wall. Their heads are bagged there, and there's a part in one of these videos where the guy, the narrator, says, "Don't keep quiet, don't speak, don't beg." He says to them, "Don't beg." I can't remember what he says exactly, but part of this is about going sort of like begging won't do any good, and begging diminishes the offering. He implies, right?
I had forgotten that part, but yeah,
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I just took it as don't beg because it's not going to do you any good.
Yes, but he says something a little more there. Where's a
Jen's got it again. Begging makes the flesh taste sour.
Yeah, maybe they need that fear to be untainted, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Is that what he says?
No, I was joking.
No. Oh, she's joking. Why don't
like I said with the man in yellow, fear makes the liver taste better.
I know, and that's why I said that. That's what I was thinking of when I said that. Either way, creepy ass video. And that guy looks kind of familiar. But
no.
I'm not sure why.
Anyway.
All right. So yeah, there's more of them in the shelter trying to keep them calm. I mean, Patty's trying. She's doing a good job, I guess, as best could be expected with the craziness that's going on. And then all of a sudden, Dale comes out and he's like, "We got what's he? I forget exactly what does he say. We got to escape, or they're."
I don't remember what he says, but he's like, "Run!"
He says this place is a death trap.
Yeah, run. Like, does he really think that's going to help? Now everybody's going to start trampling each other.
Well, yes, Jamie, I think he thinks it does help. There's something that is going to kill them in that room, so yes, you should run. And right?
Yeah, but I'm thinking there's like all these people in like a locked room, and they're not getting out of there. So
okay, he doesn't know the room is locked. For starters, he doesn't know the room is locked.
Okay, that's true.
He was not.
I'm kind of like they can't go out.
To be fair, the room is not locked.
No,
all somebody has to do is walk over to the door and open it.
Yeah, but they can't go out in the storm, and he's gonna cause panic.
Sure, you can.
He doesn't think
it's not recommended, but you can.
I guess, but I think that
I really don't think that you should. I don't think you should like ascribe that kind of like well thought out rational process to this person Dale, and particularly after he just watched that movie.
Yeah,
like I would run out of there screaming, "Get out!" Also, right? Like.
I guess, but it's just going to cause everybody to panic and start like trampling.
He's panicking. He is panicking.
Yes, he's panicking too. You're not wrong. He is panicking.
Look at his face.
Cause panic. Yes. Minerva says maybe the sacrifices are to please the entity and stop the curse temporarily. I think that's what it does. Yeah.
That's the point of sacrifices.
Until they get the rest of the lives set up there. All right, so he calls on the radio. He asks where Evan is, doesn't he? Isn't that what the question is?
He just wants to know if Evan's okay.
Yeah, because he's about to commit murder, and he wants to.
But they're not answering.
Yeah, they're not answering. He thinks she's dead, and he comes over and talks to her again. And this is where she wakes up, and she's like, "Oh, I've had an affair, Tom." And he's like, "It's okay." And then he's like, "Well, she did something wrong." And then she's like, "Oh, but I got to see that girl fall in love with you, Tom." So yeah, we know that she is the mother of Lauren. Was it Lauren? Was that her name?
Lauren, yeah.
And one of the townspeople adopted her. I don't remember the exact story, but
the person the man she had the affair with raised her.
Oh, okay. I was thinking
like Lauren's father was her father.
Okay, I couldn't remember. But either way, she stayed quiet. They raised her, but she got to watch her girl grow up, and that's when she says that it was Lauren. And then like right when he knows this and is like, "What the hell am I gonna do?" That's when Bashir comes in and he sees him with the gun, and he's like, "No."
Well, he tells her he's got to get to a hospital, and then he sees Bashir.
Yeah.
So how did you guys feel about that? I was shocked.
Yeah, I did not expect him to come
I
in.
was not. I thought Bashir was going, which is what they probably wanted us to think, was that Bashir was going to stop him.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
And,
sure. I was totally
did
shocked.
the opposite.
Yeah.
I never thought Bashir was trying to stop him. I thought Bashir was going to. He's determined, to say he says, "Tell me, where did he go? I'm trying to save my child. I'm trying." Right?
I don't think he says that. I think he
does.
just
He says, "I'm trying." He does at some point say, "I'm trying to say." I just listened to the whole episode today while I was driving my car, and I couldn't even watch it. I could only listen to it, so I feel like it's kind of clear in my.
Because you're saying he said that before he left. After
yes,
Tom.
before he left, when he was asking like, "Where did Tom go? Where did Tom
Okay.
go?" He says, like, I'm trying to save my child. I need to save my child. He says,
okay,
or he says, I won't damn my child. He says something like that.
See, I thought that was like he said after to Tom. That's why I was a little confused, but I guess I'm mixing up the order. But either way, I definitely, whatever it was he said, didn't notice or didn't hear it. And it sounds like AJ didn't either, because I didn't pick up on it, whatever it was. Because yeah, I
might not have noticed it if it wasn't the third time that I was.
No, that's fair. If you've watched it more than once, you pick it up. But you weren't surprised the first time then either, is what you're saying? Though,
no,
right?
I think even the first time I understood it as he wanted to make sure that his child would be able to leave this island.
All right, fair. Jen said Bashir was a shock of the moment, but not a surprise. All right, fair. Yeah, I mean, once it happened, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. I just, yeah, I don't know. I was very surprised. I didn't expect it to happen. And now he's like, there's another ancestor or whatever. You didn't have to do that. And then he's like, who is it, Tom? Who is it? And Tom smartly says he doesn't know because she died before she could tell him, or is going to die and won't be able to tell them, whatever. Which was like thinking really fast, because he's not going to tell him it's Evan, but he would, try to pull it out of him. So smart.
Interesting question there. Now, if he did tell Bashir, I can't, it's Evan.
Would he kill him?
Do you kill my son to save your son?
Yeah. And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if he would or not. I'd say maybe only because he didn't really seem to think through Ruth. Like, he was quick to make that decision, where Tom really struggled with it. So I could see him.
That is kind of interesting when you think about it.
It is, yeah. But he's not going to find out. I don't think anybody's going to find out until way later. I think maybe like Patricia and Wick might find out, but they're not going to tell people if they do. I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, Minerva says, I was shocked to see the sheriff shoot Ruth, but the sheriff was desperate to save his wife and child. He was. That's why he does it, right? To save his newborn.
Yeah. I think the other difference is that Bashir still has a chance to save them too. Like, they haven't even had the baby yet, right? So I think to him, it's not as like to Tom, this is something he's been living with. With Bashir, it's like he's been fighting the clock, if that makes sense. I feel like it's more fresh. And I know it's still either way he thinks is going to end the curse. I'm just saying, like, it.
All right. But Tom's been living with it for like an hour. Oh, you mean the idea that his son can't live to the island? He's been living with it.
Yeah, like he's been trying desperate to find any way to get off the island first. Like, this is like the next step when he found out he couldn't leave, I feel like.
I mean, I feel like Tom, partly what's happening here is, I mean, also Tom and Bashir are just different people. Bashir has a gun, is trained to use a gun, and is trained to be able to use that gun in a moment of need if he has to, right? Like, he never wants to pull his gun probably, but he has been, he's a sheriff and might have to shoot a person. That's not a thing that Tom could ever possibly, of course Tom chooses drugs. He chooses to he wants Ruth to fall asleep peacefully and just die in a way that, Tom chooses a non-violent method of killing her. Because he's not comfortable with anything else. And maybe the sheriff's just a little more comfortable with the idea of this more violent thing. And also,
it could still be quick.
Let me finish. But Tom also was ready to do it, but then he spent an hour like listening to Ruth, and he like started to understand her and know her and like her and have doubts, right? Sheriff like just walks in and pops her. There's no chance for like any like second thoughts or regrets there. He doesn't have that hour of being like a Russell nice person.
Well, that's why Tom wanted her to. That's why Tom wanted her to brew the other tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brew the quick tea. We don't have time for this. Yeah, no. Either way, nobody knows about Evan. Nobody's going to know about Evan. And then they're down in there, and that, I guess I didn't have a picture of him going in there, but Kenny goes in and yells at them, and he's like, "What are you kids doing? Get out of there," type of thing. And they go out, and then the door slams shut with him in there. And
no, he closed the door and locked them in.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't. I thought that
because kids are stupid. He thought it would be funny.
Okay, I didn't remember that.
But Evan does stay and try and open the door.
Evan tries to stay, and I appreciated Evan at least tried to save the guy, because he's screaming and that thing is eating him or whatever. I don't know, doing something. You know what would be interesting if it ended up it wasn't a demon and like it was somebody that turned into an animal that was bit by an animal. That'd be kind of funny. I was just thinking of that. Hi, Panda, welcome. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize he did. I guess I blinked and missed it because I thought.
It could be that, Jen, you might be onto something.
Yeah, he might.
The only thing is, was he leading Evan and the girl down there to sacrifice them, or was he? Because otherwise, how does he know somebody's going to follow them down there that they can lock in there? Or was he just being a show off?
Like just a stupid teenager. I personally, I don't think that he did it on purpose, but I also thought the door shut itself. I missed that.
Yeah, no, he absolutely shut the door.
But I think he's just a stupid teenager. Yes, Evan was a victim of peer pressure. He wasn't as much of a shit. I'll say he wasn't as much of a shit. He still followed them and knows better, but yeah. It was them that wanted to.
Yeah, but he wasn't. But he wasn't being intentionally an asshole this episode.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. He wasn't intentionally being a shit. All right, so he's like, "We got to take her to the hospital," and I forget what she says, but I definitely thought at that point she was a goner because her head's bleeding. So he did hit her in the head, and hey, he is a sheriff. He should be able to hit where he aims. So I
thought he shot her in the back.
She's got blood coming out of the side of her head.
Yeah, but she fell. She fell. She hit her head.
Yeah, she definitely could have hit her head, but I just assumed that he shot her in the head. I didn't. That's an assumption, but I thought she did.
I mean, I feel like if he shoots her in the head, Tom should have blood all over him. And I don't think
that's also true. Yeah, unless
her head would not be as intact.
Not unless it was a graze. Which, you know what? I would say maybe, TV, they just didn't want to go that route. But with this show, they would have had her.
I was going to say, with this show, I would definitely think they would have.
So, yeah, I think you might be right. And I just didn't pay enough attention, I guess, to even think about it. I just assumed. It could be opportunity he knew needed to be done, and opportunity presented itself.
Yeah, I just Googled it because I was curious. He shoots her in the back.
Okay, I definitely missed that then. I didn't pay enough attention. Yes, Evan did try to save the guy. He winged her. Yeah, but that's what I meant too. Like, I just assumed that he like grazed her, I guess, or shot her more.
If he just grazed her, then there's no need to think she's dead.
Well,
you don't kill somebody by grazing.
I think she's dead. I don't know that they think she's dead. I'm just saying. But you know what? What's interesting though, if you think about it, you were saying earlier about like he throws the necklace into the water and that implies she's dead. I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, don't think that necessarily does imply she's dead, because think about it this way. What if she did just get grazed or did just hit her head and whatever? But see, I didn't see where she actually got shot, how bad she got shot. But I could see it where they'd be like, oh shit, what are we going to do? You can't tell people, or like, we'll go to jail. So like they take her somewhere and like she doesn't tell people what happened and that she's like pretending to be dead or something. I could see that happening too. Or she could be immortal like Richard Warren. That's also a possibility. I mean, look at the boogeyman. We don't really know.
I don't think she's not the one that made the deal though. The rest of Warren's family is dead. So why would she be
Yeah, but what
immortal?
about the boogeyman? We assumed that the boogeyman was like a relative. Maybe the boogeyman
We don't know
was
what
actually
we don't know.
not
We
a
know
person.
nothing about the boogeyman. The boogeyman is irrelevant.
The boogeyman could be an entity
Why would she be immortal for being a Warren?
because
None of the other Warrens were immortal.
I don't know. I thought it was implying
Yeah.
that the boogeyman was, but we don't
No,
really know that that wasn't an
no.
entity.
We know that the boogeyman was immortal. We don't know why. We don't know anything else about him.
We don't know that he's immortal. Patty burned him to ashes.
Yes, Patty burned him to ashes. But when they
Right.
tried to kill him, he wouldn't die, which is why they buried him alive.
Okay, but
Exactly.
that's not really immortal. She eventually killed him.
Well, I'm calling him immortal. You're right. If she
All
killed
right,
him,
you're right. It's not immortal, but very difficult to kill. How about that?
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, she could technically survive it, and they could have hit it. We don't know, but we'll find out later, I'm sure.
I'm not saying she's not alive. I'm just saying the implication. It was like, a gesture with him throwing the brooch in the ocean.
It probably was, but I'm saying it could also be that they're hiding what happened, and that like she's
Why get rid of the brooch if they're hiding her? What's the correlation?
Because the people that know about the picture and everything won't like go after her, finding out that she's the last descendant. They wouldn't find the same information they did.
Who are they? Who?
I don't know if they've actually did it, but I guess it wouldn't matter because she isn't the last descendant, so it kind of defeats the purpose. But maybe he's afraid they'll find Evan. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, maybe they are hiding it so that they don't go after Evan. I don't know. I'm just like thinking ahead and thinking what could be.
I'm thinking we got to move on to another show.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just like thinking of different things it could be. But either way, whenever that person, that Kenny in that room gets killed and screams, the storm stops. So they are, I'm assume that he did it. They think he killed Ruth. I guess he probably doesn't know why it stopped. And I'm curious, like, are they going to just assume then that it was because of Ruth if she's dead? Right? Like they how do I say this? Tom knows it's not over because Tom knows there's another descendant, but Wick and Patricia do not. So the only way they would know is if he tells them. If
he's going to have to tell them.
He could come back if he can get Bashir to lie with him. He could come back and be like, "Well, I killed her. The storm stopped. We must be safe." That's all I'm saying.
But eventually, more creepy shit is going to happen on this island, and they're going to know.
He can tell them the same thing he told Bashir. There's another one, but he doesn't know who it is.
Yeah. Well, at this point, they think he killed
because
her.
Bashir shot her before he could find out.
Yeah. Anything for Freedom said he must have been bored for 300 years. I'm sure he was. He's never going to tell it's Evan, so people think Ruth was the last. I don't know. I was just saying that they could try to fake it, but I don't know that would even.
He's never going to tell it's Evan, but he's
never going to tell it's Evan.
But he can't not say that there's another.
No,
but it's very simple to say Bashir shot her and killed her before I could find out who it was. That's all he's got to say.
Yes, but he has to because he said to Bashir, she's not the last. If he had kept his mouth shut, it wouldn't have happened, right? But he says to Bashir, she's not the last.
Because he was trying
to stop him from shooting her.
It was terrible. It's terribly, terribly sad that this very nice person now has been killed for no reason, right?
Yeah.
And Tom's trying to stop that. And he says, no, don't shoot. She's not the last. So he has to just keep going with the story that Bashir shot her before he could find out who the descendant is.
Right. But then Bashir would go to prison. And I'm just seeing, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Prison. He only has to go to prison if someone calls the state police to come to the island and arrest him.
Well, they got to do something with the body.
I'm pretty sure on Widow's Bay you can easily get rid of a body with nobody really caring about it.
Okay, when the storm's going on, I guess that's true.
She has no family. She doesn't.
This is not something we need to worry about right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. At any rate,
it'll probably be 2 years before we get another episode.
Yeah, it'll be at least 2 years.
Storm's over. 8 bell tolls. He throws it into the water, and then he goes back with Evan. And yeah. It's not over. They are safe temporarily, exactly, but not for long. Only until season 2, and then we'll find out. All right. Well, I really liked the show. I think that it ended in a way that really it could have been. I agree with you. It could have been the series finale. I'm glad it's not, but it would have been. It would have. It was kind of like a one of those endings that works for both, right? I feel like
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get up the other pictures. All right. You ready for Lestat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me swap the pictures here. Now, I don't know. There's a lot I was confused with this episode because of the like this mixing timelines and everything, and I didn't have time to go back, so I saw it once, and there was a lot going on. So, but he's taking the
I
picture.
like this episode. I like the show. I like this episode. There's a lot to like, particularly Sam Reed's performance in the interview with Daniel is incredible. Like anybody who doesn't believe that Sam Reed is the Vampire Lestat at this point, I mean, dude's got to be a vampire in real life, right? He's amazing. He's incredible. He's super hot in all of this. This may become.
You women are always objectifying men. It's really disgusting. I actually got that out without laughing.
AJ don't love how they are handling the 17th century stuff in every episode. I think the pacing is off, and it's really a lot of it's rushed. Jamie, I understand why maybe you don't understand because some of this is rushed, and they have stuff like, I mean, a huge chunk of the book is this piece about Nikki and Lestat in Paris together, right? And it's like takes place in just a couple of scenes. And we had a couple scenes in the past.
Well,
Lestat's POV, we only get a couple of scenes, and you could have had a whole season that's just that flashback. I know we're not going to, but that there's enough material there.
That's the thing though. I don't think that's the whole story. I think it's the way they're telling it is going to be very fragmented. And I got to say, I love the way they're doing it actually, because this being a visual show as opposed to reading a book, it's going to play differently. So I actually really like the fact that they're doing a documentary style thing with Lestat, because I'm really enjoying that dynamic of it, especially with how Daniel's being towards him.
I like that. Part.
Yeah,
I don't love the 17th century part.
That's the thing. I don't think what we just got is all of it, because we only see snippets of him getting turned by Magnus. That's not even the whole story or the lead up to this. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, his turning in the show was a lot nicer than in the book, because in the book, Magnus drags him to a cave.
Yes, it keeps him in a cave. Yeah,
and then he has all his wealth and riches like sitting in a pile, and then he walks into a fire.
Look, I'm sure it's not all of it. I'm sure we'll see more of it because Daniel's going to keep poking that button there. But I just don't. I want to hear from Jamie. Jamie, when you say there are parts of it that were too fast or confusing, is that the 17th century part, or the?
Yeah, I think what confused me. First of all, let me just say I did enjoy it, but this is not a show which at its first glance seems. You can't be multitasking. You have to pay attention because there's a lot going on. And I had a lot of stuff I was trying to do, and I was trying to do too many things at once. And that's why I said I wished I'd had time to go back to it, because I didn't get enough of it. But I think what confused me, it wasn't that there was a flashback. It's that there was the flashback to what was going on with, I'm sorry, I already forget his name. The guy that he was in love with.
Nikki.
But the stuff about Magnus transforming him confused me, because that clearly happened before any of that. So that was like a different timeline.
Yeah, it's not linear.
There were two interacting timelines, and I didn't understand the thing. So let me see if I understood it, because of the way they overlap the stories. So I'm guessing, from my understanding, that this guy, Magnus, essentially kidnapped him, locked him in that room. Sounds like raped him. and eventually turned him against his will. That was what I got out of it, the way they did it. But they had so many things intertwined, I was confused. And
That's
then,
it in a nutshell.
okay. And then the other storyline you have about Nikki, I didn't realize he had already turned him. Like when he was saying, he said to him like he wanted him to tell him or something. I thought he was still human, but I'm understanding. I don't think he was. I think Lestat had already turned him, and I didn't realize that.
Hold on. All right. So when Nikki is yelling at him, when he sees Gabrielle, and he's like, "How is your mother here? She was dying." And Lestat tells him, and he's like, "I'm not upset that you turned her. I'm upset that you haven't turned me. That you don't love me enough."
That's what I thought. He said that you don't love me to do it or whatever. So he
right.
wasn't. He was
So when Nikki rushes off, and the Lestat gets up to leave, and Gabrielle's like, "Don't turn him. Do not do it. It's a bad idea." And Lestat walks away and closes the doors behind him. That's when he goes to turn Nikki.
Okay, see, I missed that. That's where I was a little confused because that's what I thought initially. But then the way they were having the conversation later, it made it sound to me like he had already been turned, and that's where I got confused. So I guess like he was already kind of going crazy at that point, and that
at that point he was just upset. He goes crazy later.
Okay. He wasn't. Was he crazy though because he made him into a vampire? That's the point.
So when Lestat says, "I want to change him," and Gabrielle says, "Don't do it. This is not going to go well." That's straight from the book.
Yeah.
And Gabrielle, I think she knew that he was too mentally fragile to handle the transformation, and she was proven right that Nikki couldn't handle
that
the
makes
transformation, and that kind of broke an already fragile person.
Okay, that makes more sense. And then they killed him because he was too far gone.
In the book, he throws himself into the fire. In the book, Lestat is not present. Lestat leaves. And Armand and Nikki are alone in Paris for a while. It is Armand who chops off Nikki's hands, right? And Nikki throws himself into the fire to kill himself. Like, I don't know if the story has changed it that Armand did it, or if Lestat is lying in this interview with Daniel saying that Armand did it. But Lestat's in the book, Lestat's not present to witness it and hears about it later.
Okay, well, that's the other part of these aren't reliable narrators.
No, they're not.
I think that was also throwing me for a loop because obviously originally Daniel thought he killed himself, and then the way he's telling the story, he didn't. So I was a little.
It's so unreliable that Daniel didn't realize that Lestat was fucking with him and talking to him in his head, and none of it.
Oh, I love that. That was great.
That was great. Yeah.
But yeah, he thought that he committed suicide in front of him and that it broke him. At least that was what Daniel thought. And but why would Armand cut his hand? See, though, I don't understand. Like that was sort of like a love triangle, I guess, going on there. That's why I said I think if you read the book, it probably makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I mean, in the book, it has to do with his like crazy. In the book, it's because he broke coven rules, and so it's a punishment.
Well, you know what? Let's not even. I feel like we're gonna see. No, I feel it does matter. I feel like we're gonna see that later. And that I gotta say, Karen, I want to clarify something. I like the stylization of how they're doing the show. I'm not necessarily crazy about jumping around so much and being so non-linear, because a person who hasn't read the books and kind of has an understanding like Jamie is getting confused because they're not doing a linear, because he's telling a story about Magnus and about Nikki at the same time. He's jumping.
Yeah, exactly. That was what started. I started losing it with that because there was two different.
Because I mean, there's huge. I mean, they need to get. They still got to explain how he meets Armand. Which he's already with Armand. And he hasn't even told the story about how he met Armand yet.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I did, as much as it confused me because there were so many things intertwined together. I did like how they like juxtaposed the thing with Bruno and Claudia with him being assaulted.
Bruce.
Like it made sense. I'm sorry, what did I call him? Bruno, Bruce. Yeah. And Claudia with Lestat to kind of give that explanation, because that's what I said. That was how I took it, but they didn't have to that way outright, do detail. Let's put it that way.
I gotta say, I'm not enjoying the Louis side story at all for two reasons. One, because I feel like the show's called The Vampire Lestat. I feel like there is so much to get through with Vampire Lestat that it's taking time away from maybe telling a more, giving us more information about Lestat. Because all the Louis stuff, completely new, completely, none of this stuff's in the book. Bruce
Yeah.
isn't in the book.
You
Like,
know,
this is
I
all
think
new stuff.
we said that we think that they wanted to keep it for the people that were fans of the of the show.
Oh yeah,
and of
the only reason they're doing this is to keep Jacob Anderson around.
what
This
I
is-
think's interesting though is I feel like if they had not done that, I think that the people that were watching it would have kept watching it because it would have worked better. But I think they were more afraid they would lose people more than that they actually would, because I feel too like it's kind of shoehorned in there and it doesn't need to
I
be.
don't think
I
there's
love
anybody
Jacob.
watching. I don't think there's anybody watching this show that is saying, "Well, if Jacob Anderson is not around, I'm not going to watch it," because you still have Sam Reed. You know what I mean? Like, and vice versa.
I mean, I love Jacob Anderson. He's great and his character is great, but it feels unnecessary and it doesn't connect enough.
I don't mind it. It doesn't feel unnecessary to me. I think it started to come together for me a little more this week. I mean, he's doing it for Claudia, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think you gotta have Jake. I think that
you got to have it, but I could have done with having this storyline, then having that. Like, I didn't need them at the same time. Like, they could have done that the next season, but maybe that's how the way the books are split. They can't.
But that's the thing. It's not. He's not
in the book.
It's not in the book.
Not in the book at all. Okay, I thought it just
Not
wasn't
at
in
all. This is.
I know.
This
Isn't another book though later?
No,
Or
this
not?
is all original story they're
Okay.
making up for Louis.
Yeah. I'm not sure they needed to do that then.
Yeah, the reason, and like I said, the main reason I don't like it is because it takes away from telling Lestat's story, which there's a lot to tell. Because I'm really worried. I'm serious. I'm worried that after season 10, they're gonna have to recast because it's gonna take 20 years to get to season 10.
All right. Anyway, let's get into it.
Intend to have 10 years.
If you want to do all of Anne Rice's work, you need more than 10 years.
Yeah, but that's my point, because I think it's gonna take 10 years just to get through half of it, or 20 years to get through half of it, because I feel like there's gonna be Lestat season 2, because I don't know how you get through his entire book in 7 episodes, especially if you're gonna go on this side mission with Louis and waste 20 minutes of an episode.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. There's just I think the problem is that there's so much already going on. It just adds to that. It's not that it isn't good or it isn't interesting, at least to me. Like, it's not that I don't want to see the stuff with him. I'm enjoying it. It's just, it was already ping-ponging back and forth between 3 different timelines. It was like a little much at a certain point.
I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy about, and here's the difference. In Interview with the Vampire, everything is from Louis' perspective, and Louis paints himself in a certain light, and he paints Lestat in a certain light. In the Vampire Lestat is now reversing those roles, and he's painting himself a certain way. He's painting Louis a certain way. Yeah. The stuff we see with Louis isn't being told by anybody. It's actuality.
Told by Lestat. Said something like one scene.
No. Jamie, hold on. Let me finish. Okay. The stuff that's happening with Louis that just happened with Bruce, nobody's telling us that story. That's happening in real time. So we're seeing actual Louis. I don't like that they are making Louis so much more violent than he should be.
Okay.
Oh, then
I get that.
They're completely changing Louis' character.
There was a scene in, I think, the second episode, I don't know, one of the episodes, where Lestat said that he said something like, I wasn't there with Louis, but I'm still telling it. So that's why I assumed that meant that all of these were still from his warped or decided point of view, because he made that point of saying, I wasn't with him in the diner or whatever, but yes, I'm still telling this. Do you remember that scene? Like, he said that. He's like,
but the whole stuff with, the stuff with Bruce.
Well, that to me was confusing then, because I just assumed it was all still him somehow knowing about it or telling it later. I don't know. So yeah, that's more confusing. Anyway, I don't know. I'm trying to see if there's anything specific. So his whole storyline is he goes to look for Bruce and he saves the humans that are there. I did really like, I don't know if you can see it here, the different things with the head. I love when he walked up and just whacked his head off and he's like still talking to him. But here, so does decapitation in this world kill vampires, or I wasn't
Yes.
sure if he was dead or
Yes.
coming back. Okay.
Yeah, but as they say in this, they could maybe talk a little bit before the head
Yeah.
could talk a little bit before.
Well, I like
he
that they
dies.
kept showing the violence behind him and just with his head laying there. That was just great. I love the way they did that. And then we have a lot with Daniel there as he thinks he's telling him the story. And there's Nikki. Yeah, I think we kind of went over all of it. We just didn't go in order. I was trying to see if there was any more we skipped. He found Nikki. The other vampires had drained him, right? Because he found him and
the vampires have been feeding on him, right, and torturing him while Lestat was like not around or whatever. And Lestat comes and rescues him.
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe he had. When I was getting confused, I thought maybe he had turned him at that point so he wasn't dying. But
no, they kind of rush through this. Well, I'm talking about rushing through this. Like in the book, this plays out a lot longer, and like Nikki's like, Lestat's sneaking around and coming and going, and like Nikki's getting more and more like concerned and confused about it, and I don't know if he's paranoid, but he definitely is having some issues with it, and it is fraying his nerves and fraying their relationship. And I feel like had they given this 90 seconds longer, that you might have like felt that a little more and understood that a little more, right? Like this is really crammed in here pretty quickly, this Nikki business. Yeah. I mean, we do know about it from maybe season 1 or season 2. There's some flashback about it also. I guess there's some flashback to it in the whole Théâtre de Vampire thing in season 2, right?
Yeah.
Now let me.
But this is like, I mean, what's so important about this is that Nikki is Lestat's first love, and it ends badly, starts badly, ends badly. I mean, it starts nicely, actually. It's a little different in the book, the way it starts, but it still haunts Lestat and resonates with him 250 years later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The other thing I just wanted to ask, because I was a little confused by, is when we get the things about, what's his name? I already forgot his name. Magnus?
Yeah.
The part that was interspersed about he wrote the song about him. That's all in his head, right? Like him demanding that he write the song. I assume he's like imagining him being there the whole time.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Making sure I did this, because that's why I was a little confused when he's like, write the song. And I'm like, okay, well then that's why he was never there in the first place when he wrecked the car. So that made a little more sense then.
Yeah.
Because that guy, they didn't show him for very long. It was kind of like popping in and out, and it seemed like he was obsessed with Lestat, but I didn't know if some of that was more Lestat's view of that, or that was really what.
Well, you got to look at it's all of Lestat's view of it.
Oh.
That's how you take the whole thing. I do love it though. After he wrecks the car, how he just kind of it's already on fire. He just kind of nonchalantly crawls out and just starts walking away as it blows up behind him. He's just like, whatever, another day.
Yeah. He's like, yep. Oh well. Next venue. He goes off and sings again.
I mean, it was kind of are we at this part yet where like the whole thing, all of Lestat's transformation that we see in this is the music video he made for the song. It's not a flashback, right? It's the music video that was made to go with this song. So it's like double unreliable, right? I mean, it's pretty reliable because like we've read the book, we know agent, right? Like it's pretty.
Well, you mean the part with Magnus, right? Not
part
the
of Magnus, yes. The whole Lestat's transformation, in which Magnus does like kidnap him, keep him chained up in a cave, feed on him.
Yeah, it was very theatrical.
Assault him, like that's all true, right? And then he keeps Lestat there for a long time, and it's pretty traumatic and horrible. But the images we see of it are the music video to go with the song that he made, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was where it got a little weird when he was like chained up on the floor or whatever. So that actually makes
Well,
a
he,
little
he
more.
was in, but
Yes, but the way they
that's
filmed
why
it,
the
I
reason
mean,
it's presented as like a fan stalking him at his shows, right?
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Which it kind of was.
yeah, kind of was. He was stalking him at the theater in
Although that's interesting though, because whatever person they got to play him in the music video was still like the same person that we see. Oh no, you're saying that whole thing was the music. Okay,
yeah,
so
the
maybe
whole thing
not.
is a music video.
Whole thing's music. Okay, all right. That actually makes more sense now. That's where I was a little off. All right. Well, other than that, we do get a couple other things. Wait, I'm trying to find it. We get Daniel kind of in the middle of that where he's talking about you can't fight loneliness and that Daniel's off feeding. So he's not happy with his life as much as he pretends to be. And then we have Louis, and when he goes to see Claudia, which we already know this isn't Claudia clearly, and also
No,
he said
the waitress. No,
he
she's just a
realized
waitress lookalike. That's it.
right, and he said that before that like he even knew it wasn't her, so he's not even like thinking it really is. He goes to see her because it makes him, I guess, feel better. So there's that, and then the last scene is the a I don't know if it's actually, I guess it's actually an AA meeting, but him talking about his band getting famous without him and all that. I was not surprised that like they were panning around to Armand. I felt like you knew that it was going to be somebody there, and like who else could it be, right? But I like the way they did it still.
I guess. I mean, I feel like you've glossed over some hugely important elements of this
I
episode.
probably did. I said we went sort of all out of order, so I was just kind of
Well, the show's kind of all over the place, so
yeah, I was trying to pick up what we missed, but I probably did miss more.
Okay.
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up was I love when Gabrielle decides to have sex with his lookalike while he's doing his interview.
and she's screaming like a banshee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny, but it's also like an example of her complete manipulation of
that's why I love
relationship between her and her son, and the complete manipulation that while he's trying to give this interview and put on whatever kind of performance, that she like goes and like does this with this lookalike of her son. And like there's so many levels on which it's like
messed up.
Well, she's taking his attention away from like she's drawing Lestat's attention to herself. She's drawing everybody else's attention to herself. The whole like Oedipal thing of it is like way creep. It gets creepier every week, right? It is so messed up what happens there.
Yeah. And, for a split second, I thought Daniel was going to realize who she was when he talks about turning his mother, and he's like, "Your mother." And then I really thought for a second he's like, yes, but Gabrielle's dead.
Yeah,
that was what I was going to ask you guys. I wasn't sure whether she was upset when she thought he was going to say that she was that person, his mother, or whether she wanted him to. I thought she was upset at first, but then it was a little weird the way
that's why she called herself Sophia.
Okay, they don't want anybody to know then, or at least they didn't. But he acted like he was going to tell for sure.
I mean, so
and that was his part of the game.
Yeah.
Book Gabrielle has a real I mean, she retreats from society for like 200 years, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. And she's I mean, she's kind of she's more than kind of different. She's pretty different in a lot of ways from the character in the book, right? But I mean that was such a mess up.
She's a lot more subdued. Like she's adventurous, but not as destructive, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
As in this character, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's I mean the degree what she means to Lestat, which, like she was we've talked about her being like not that like mothery of a mother, right? And yet I guess Lestat, Lestat's love for her and connection to her, and yet I feel like the danger that she represents, right? Like it just feels so dangerous having her around, right?
Mm-hmm.
the danger that she represents to Lestat and everyone is like crazy. The other thing about this interview is the way like it's so adversarial. Like Daniel thinks he's making some Pulitzer Prize winning level movie that's going to change the world, right? And look, I think Lestat's clearly just like humoring him, right? The entire for 3 episodes now. But did it feel to you guys like it felt to me like it's turning hostile in this episode?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure, yeah. And that's why it was great when you found out none of it even happened. Like, he didn't even tell him. He did it all in his head. Because, I mean, there was the thing at the beginning, too, just where he pretended to be upset and then wasn't. So there was both.
That was funny and shit. That was great. Well, no. Actually, no, that was a fake out. He was upset. And then he turned into, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah. No, I believe he was really upset. I didn't mean that he wasn't. But it was still funny the way they did it. But, yeah, finding out that he didn't actually say anything. What I think's more funny, though, what he did to Daniel is the fact that all the other people just stood around there and let them stare at each other for half an hour.
Like, you guys didn't say anything for like half an hour.
I feel like that's like Rosemary with Patricia not saying anything as all the shit's going on and just like letting it happen, you know. That's what it made me think of. But,
I love how it kind of shows like just how Daniel is such a baby fledgling. He's only been a vampire for like a year or something, right?
Mm.
Yeah, maybe 2.
Maybe 2 years, yeah. And meanwhile, Lestat's been a vampire for like 250 years. He's so powerful. And that he can pull that mind trick on Daniel so easily. And Daniel thought he had this big gotcha moment that he got Lestat to like really reveal something about himself. And then none of it's on film. And then you have to wonder if any of it was real at all, right? Like, not we have to wonder, but Daniel has to wonder, like, if any of it was even real at all, I think. It was kind of awesome. And it, you know, it's great to see him, to see, like, that control juxtaposed against, like, with Nikki, how he couldn't. So, because Lestat created Nikki, you can't do the mental trick. You can't do the telepathic communication with your fledgling, right? That's why Lestat could never talk to Claudia that way either.
I just want you to stop a second because now I'm confused. I thought that this conversation he was having with Daniel, that Gabrielle was hearing it too. So how, now I'm more confused because if he can't talk telepathically.
No, it was only part of it.
You can't talk telepathically to your fledgling.
So she knew he was doing it the whole time then. I thought she was listening in. They made it like she was, but I guess that's because
she was telepathically talking to Daniel. We saw that throughout the interview.
Right. I assumed she was, the way they did it, they made it sound like she was listening to the whole conversation, which they probably did that on purpose. So you didn't know what they were going to do.
She can only hear what Lestat speaks. He can't project into her mind. And so I was going to like how heartbreaking it is that like he created Nikki, and at the moment that Nikki is like at his weakest and having like an emotional break and a mental break, like Nikki is losing it mentally, right? Like he's never really right after the change, and Lestat can't like make him understand or talk to him or comfort him like telepathically at all, because like it's kind of like really sad, right? But then like I just feel like it was really well juxtaposed with Daniel's with Lestat's use of that trick on Daniel, on someone that how powerful that can be, right?
Mm-hmm. But at least in this version, he's saying that he let Armand kill Nikki, and it sounds like we don't know that that's actually accurate because that might change later.
It's not accurate. It's not accurate to the book for sure.
The book, but what is it accurate to the show? We don't know because
we don't know yet.
We don't know because like Lestat is so.
We'll have to wait for Armand's book.
Yeah. I feel like not only is Lestat like he has an interest in making this story be flattering to himself, right? He's trying to refute Louis's lies and make obviously the subject of story is going to try to flatter themselves a little bit, but he also I think like has he wants to make Daniel look foolish, and he wants to mess with, like, he has so many motivations to lie here, right?
Mm-hmm. He was in a relationship with Armand though too. Lestat.
Maybe.
Because that's where whenever that was the other thing I couldn't remember. I was trying to remember like the other season. Like whenever Armand was like, I love you like Stat, like that was obviously sarcasm but it
Oh no, I
to
thought
me
it was sucking up. I thought he was sucking
well,
up.
that too.
Lestat,
But
I mean, Lestat is beautiful, and I think Armand was interested, but Lestat did not give him the time of day.
right.
Lestat was in love with
I
Nikki.
kind of wondered with the whole thing with Nikki if it was like it was sort of a love triangle. That's why I said I wasn't sure.
I mean, if Armand had an unrequited interest in Lestat, maybe, but there was no love triangle. There was no Lestat and Armand together.
All right. I'm thinking it. I couldn't remember. That's why I said I couldn't remember from the other part of the series. All right. Yeah. You said I skipped stuff. What else? Was there anything else?
Well, I mean, I guess I wanted to also talk about that. I got in here that part about like the lie to Daniel and how he put that whole thing in Daniel's head. And like where that could be going. We don't know, right? But Daniel seems to
might not go anywhere. It might just be a
yeah, it might just be. And the other thing we didn't really talk about was Louis' attack on Killer's gang out in Ohio, Detroit, Ohio, wherever. Louis' attack on that coven, which Raglan James has sent him there because this guy Killer / Bruce is the guy who who attacked Claudia back in like 1920, right?
Yeah, he's getting revenge at the same time.
And I just didn't want us to like leave the show without talking about the part where Louis, there's a reason why the Talamasca sent Louis, why Raglan James considers Louis to be one of the most dangerous vampires out there. Like Louis, look what he did, right?
Yeah.
He's he now is 100 years old as a vampire, right? He was turned in around the early part of the 1900s, right? Was it even 1920 yet when season 1 began? I don't know. But he's 100 years a vampire. He's very powerful. He's very violent. He's a great killer. I thought these were two great kind of murder scenes that we get here.
Mm-hmm.
And so go ahead, AJ. You were going to speak.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. So he kills the whole coven, and then he lies in wait until Bruce comes home with Baby Jenks. We see that Baby Jenks was getting married. We knew she was getting married, and she is married to Bruce, and she appears to maybe still be human. Is that correct?
See, I thought she was a vampire. I wasn't. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if she's been turned yet.
Because he said something like about they can't make babies this way now or something, but he might have meant himself as opposed to both of them, I guess.
Vampires can have sex. I don't think they can have babies.
Well,
yeah, I know. But I assumed he meant like neither of them could the way he said it. But he might have just meant because he's a vampire, he can't impregnate.
I mean, he might have been turning her the night of their honeymoon.
Maybe that was going to be their wedding night. I don't know. Louis has been waiting there, and what does he? I forget. Does he send Baby Jenks away? He rips out Bruce's spine.
He throws her across the room.
She gets splattered, and he tells her to leave.
Oh, he killed her?
No, he flung her across the room. He pushed her into the other room.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. She's like, what the fuck? And that's right. And then he flung her.
Yeah, I don't think he hurt her.
He didn't literally fling. He waved his hand and she went flying.
Yeah, I don't think he killed her, but he shoved her out of the way.
So Louis ripped out Bruce's spine, broke his jaw, and then interrogated him and asked him about it, and then forced him to sit there while he reads Claudia's diary to him. Which I have a lot of issues with all of that. And then we see the scenes of Lestat's rape by Magnus, and the voiceover is Louis reading Claudia's diary detailing her own assault by Bruce.
Yeah, by Bruce, yeah.
It was kind of incredible. It was kind of great, kind of horrible, kind of right.
It was a great juxtaposition.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
And it was kind of a real violation. Do you remember how in the last season, Louis was like, no, we don't read Claudia's. No, Daniel, I'm not reading from Claudia's diary. No, Claudia's diary is private. No, I'm not going to read it. No, I'm not going to talk about it. He would not talk about Claudia's diary at all. Right. Mm-hmm. And now he is reading it aloud. Which, okay,
Well,
it's just before he couldn't even recall it, maybe.
It's kind of different because he wasn't going to put it on record, but this is, I get why he's doing it here. He's reading it to her attacker.
Yeah.
To let, he's telling the attacker, this is how you made this person, her feeling. I mean, Bruce might not care, but it's lethargic for.
Yeah. And then he sets it on fire and puts it on Bruce's head.
That was great.
So then Claudia's diary is going to be burned for all and gone forever. Yeah. And then it sets Bruce on fire. And presumably he will die because, I mean, he's a vampire, so he would heal eventually from the spine, but he's unable to move while he's on fire. So he's going to die, right?
He's dead.
If they can't regenerate body parts, though, he can regenerate a spine. I would think he couldn't regenerate a spine either.
Oh, I think he would have to maybe be in a coffin for like 50 years. But look, Lestat recovered from being burned alive. And
well, you said that like Armand couldn't grow his eye back or whatever you said with the other episode. That's why I assumed that he couldn't, but I don't know enough about the vampire lore in this.
Well, we don't know. We don't know about that. We saw Armand with no eye and we saw Louis with no leg, and we don't know how it happened or how long it's been. I guess they can't grow back I don't know, because Lestat grew back all of his flesh and skin, right?
Yeah,
it took 100 years. It may take a more powerful vampire to do that in a weaker, like.
I was just gonna. It depends on the strength of the vampire for one.
Yeah, because I don't know. Spine is he took his whole spine out, so I don't know whether he could or not. But he couldn't move.
Lestat was sired by a very powerful ancient vampire, Magnus, and Armand was also. Marius was pretty ancient and powerful, also, right? And maybe Bruce's maker might not have been that powerful, and he doesn't carry powerful blood in his veins.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. It also does. Just because you were sired by a powerful vampire, also doesn't make you a powerful vampire. It varies.
It helps.
It could help. I mean, there's plenty of. There's also times where a fledgling is, for whatever reason, is more powerful than their maker.
I mean, Lestat has said twice now in the past, each of the first and second episodes, Lestat said, "I have the blood of Akasha." Which you and I know what that means. Jamie will learn what that means eventually, right? But Lestat has been...
Well, technically they all have the blood.
Let me finish my sentence. Lestat has been talking about his blood is powerful, right? I have the blood of Akasha. Not everybody knows what it means, but he's obviously saying something about his blood being powerful, right?
Excuse me. In regards to this guy, though, I don't think it really matters because the point is he can't move right now and he's going to burn alive before he can regenerate.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, whether he could or not, we don't know, but he's dead. All right. Anything else?
And then, but we also see Louis freeze the human captives in the blood bank.
Yeah. Yeah, I said that. He tells him to go get an Uber down the street or something. I forget.
Yeah.
He lets him go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have, like I said, then the last thing is the AA meeting with Armand.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you guys think that's about? Like, why would Armand be doing this?
No idea.
I assume he's somehow trying to get information or revenge or something by finding out where they're at. But he would want revenge on Louis, not necessarily on Lestat. So I don't know.
We don't know really why he would want revenge on Louis. Right? Like he and Louis are no longer together. Oh no, they had that big fight at the end of last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not together. Louis with that black guy now.
They're not. Yeah. I know that, and they're not together. I'm saying, like, what would Armand want revenge for?
Oh, well, I meant because they're not together or whatever they're fighting. I didn't.
We don't. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what this is about.
But why he's like after Adam is interesting. Like, is he trying to get close to Lestat? Is he? Yeah, I don't know.
I assume he's something to do with Lestat because otherwise, why would he talk to him? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. So before we go, what did you guys think of the songs in this episode? I thought they were not so great.
And maybe I love all the music. I've loved all the music.
I liked them. Yeah, I liked them.
I was
more busy looking at him, but I like the songs.
I mean, I love seeing Sam Reed perform those songs. I mean, yes, he's very attractive looking man in these scenes, but also his performance is so powerful and he's so committed to this like Lestat rockstar performance. It's really great. But I was like, wow, this is kind of shitty lyrics and music, right? I didn't think the songs were all like that great. But really, if I was going to analyze, like, what's it, Licorice? The Licorice song is not like they're all like whatever, right? Lestat is not.
So it's not about sucking dick.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Like, he's not
as Daniel so eloquently put it.
He's not trying to win Grammys. He's trying to win adoration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's telling his life through song. So the lyrics are not always going to be, but the tunes and the beats are all there. The lyrics may not be the best, but the songs themselves are the tunes are very catchy.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. You guys talk more, and I'll be back.
Okay, so you still haven't seen that. Okay. Did you get to watch it, Karen?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on, let me get a picture up here. Whoop. Hold on. I'm not clicking right here. Where's my open? Open with. Sorry, I'm having to move things and click too many things in succession. All right. And I think I have these in the wrong order. Yep. Okay. Sorry, go ahead while I'm fixing this.
So this is going to be episodes 7 and 8, which take place like right after the incident in Faber's lab, right? Like the last thing we saw was that Ben got out with some antidote, right?
Yeah.
That's how it ended previously. And so we are seeing in episodes, episode 8 is better. Like, I feel like you could have gone from 6 to 8 and didn't even really need all the stuff that happened in episode 7 so much. Right? Like,
yeah, probably. I'm looking through to see, trying to remember what specifically was 7. Yeah, well, it was kind of a lead up. I mean, a lot of this is where is this the one where they're sitting there and he's trying? No, that's the next one where he's trying to get him to call Spider.
Yeah. Like Silvermane is like, oh, I can't believe I sent my mutants to that lab and they didn't get anything. And Cat's like, really? They didn't get anything? And then they go and they steal all the mayor's money, right? Like that happens.
Oh yeah, there's that whole thing. Yeah. That the whole storyline with the mayor to me isn't that interesting. Like I get why it's there, and it's kind of it adds like sort of that gangster thing, I guess, to the story, but I don't know that it was necessary. I would agree with you.
I feel like it's kind of necessary in these. That they have like it's not at all related to Kingpin, but like we just watched another show where there was a local political element to the show, right? I feel like it's obligatory to have this thing like with the mayor, but it really went nowhere in the end. Like it just was there to be this foil for Silvermane, who the mayor didn't really ever do anything interesting.
Yeah, no. In the end, the only thing that really mattered was the fight between this guy and Flint, which is not to do with the mayor. So, the one thing that there is in this episode, and I don't know, how in depth you want to go in this to begin with. I don't think we need to go too much into stuff anyway. But the one thing that is in this episode that I absolutely loved. And it's not till near the end of the episode. Hold on, I'm looking for the pictures. Oh, I know what is important in this episode, though. There is one thing that's important, which is that, God, this is what I'm trying to get a cast list of, so I know what I'm talking about. That she goes to Janet, Kat goes to Janet to help look for him and is like, he's missing or whatever, because she's scared because of what she did. And, Janet kind of figures out that something went wrong. But that's kind of the main plot point that's important in this episode, I think.
What, that Kat feels guilty about betraying Ben?
Yeah, and that she's trying to find him. I mean,
she's trying to find him because she thinks he has the antidote, though, right?
Yeah, but I think she also feels guilty because I think she did care about him. I don't think she loved him because I think she's still in love with Flynn. But I think that she still is sorry that she hurt him, and I don't think she ever wanted to hurt him. Yes, I think she cared more about getting the antidote than she did about him. But I think that she maybe regrets doing
yeah.
it now that she's afraid he's dead. And
I mean, I don't think she regrets it. She feels bad about it, but she doesn't regret it because she always wanted to save Flint, right? Flint's her priority. And I think she feels bad, but it's not like she wouldn't do it again.
true, but she does go trying to fix it at least, whether it's just guilt or not.
Yeah.
And then we have this great wrong scene. The scene in the bar, which was really funny, of him drunkenly attacking these drunk guys because they disparaged his name.
Yeah.
I mean, like it served no purpose, but it was great, right?
It was pretty great. Yeah.
It was great. And the thing is that isn't even his mask. It's just like a ski mask, isn't it?
That's his mask.
Okay, well, because the way they did it, it looks more like it's just like a ski mask pulled over his head, but maybe it's just because he doesn't have it on all the way.
It's pretty, well, he doesn't have the hat. Usually the mask has a hat sewed onto it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. And usually it's like tucked into his.
I say sewed on because the hat never falls off no matter how many fights he gets in.
True. But he just like pulls it up. I don't know. To me, it looked more, I guess it is the same thing, but it looks more like he's just wearing a ski mask because he lifts it up and he's like talking like underneath it like that to him. And it's just funny. But the other parts are kind of him. I'm looking for names.
Well, Robbie. This is
Robbie trying to, talk to him and be like, you have to decide what's important and about the antidote and stuff. They have conversations about him wanting to become human and him saying about that, people need you and that kind of, we get that a lot in Spider-Man. I feel like when Spider-Man is down himself.
But Robbie also says, like, those two guys are actually dying from their powers. Like, you're going to take the antidote, but those guys are dying. Like, Spider-Man, Ben is not dying from his powers. Yeah, those other two guys are like actively, those guys are dying, right? And Robbie's like, well, those guys are dying. They deserve it maybe more than you do.
Yeah, right? For sure. I love their costumes, though, in this episode. Because he has that, oh no, that's him there. He has that orangey suit later too. That's like kind of like Robbie's wearing. But no, the part I loved was this whole thing finding out that Janet knew the whole time because he's told her when he's drunk, like more than once. Not even just he told her; he's told her repeatedly and didn't even remember it. Which, that was a big surprise. That was great. I love that whole scene.
That was pretty good.
There, all the drunken scenes showing him. I'm a spider. That's great. I loved it. Let's see what else was in this episode. There was that scene, and then there's her and Flint having issues. And then the whole with the prohibition, they're confiscating the alcohol, and this is when he attacks and ends up saving him and Robbie save Lonnie. He forcibly injects him with the cure whether he wants it or not, and Lonnie is actually thankful. Lonnie I guess had just given up, so he was kind of like, let's go out with a bang, I guess is essentially how he and Flint have been acting, but he really didn't want it. So when he gets the cure, he's grateful, and he does help him after that. I liked and appreciated. That was pretty cool. That was important in the story. And then they are like, we want to talk to, they come to get him. Oh, I like too how they did like the split screen. I mean, that's like total comics. I mean, obviously, but it was cool. But they come to get, I believe it's at the end of the episode as opposed to the next episode, but they come to get Ben. Talk to Silvermane because they want to find the spider. I think maybe, I don't know. I thought it was at the end of the episode. I didn't take tons of pictures, so I don't know. But I agree. There wasn't as much in this episode.
I mean, it was nice to have like that, that obligatory discussion about like the morality and the antidote and being the spider and all that, right?
And I feel like we get that in Spider-Man a lot too, like that you got to do your duty type, what is it about with power comes responsibility. I feel like that's
And with no power comes no responsibility.
Yeah, with no power comes. I love how they put that in here too. With no
Yeah.
power comes no responsibility. So he didn't want the power. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of times in the
Yeah.
Spider-Man verse and Spider-Verse.
And then like with the split screen that you're showing, you're right, it's very comic book. And they're trying to, like, this episode did kind of try to drive home what they've been setting up, which is like Ben being caught between the mayor and Silvermane. But it just didn't that hasn't really worked for me so much in the show, just because the mayor is like kind of a non-threatening villain, right?
He's kind of like buffoonish through a lot of it. And I don't know if it's just because they're making him more of a comic, like they're making him more of a comic book character, you know? So it might be intentional, but yeah, it doesn't. The only thing that I think it really did is it was funny, like when he decided that Spider was on his side and he like started taking pictures and stuff with him. That was funny. Yeah. But that's really the only, other than that, him.
I mean, if you're caught between the mayor and Silvermane, who's the one you have to worry about? Silvermane, right?
Yeah. So he's not too concerned, unsurprisingly. But yeah, the mayor does not get what he wants, and he's not happy. But it's not really that important.
Well, he's not.
All righty. That is not the end. I thought that was the end.
So
okay,
that's the end of that.
Yeah, so that's pretty much that episode, and then the next episode
is the series finale. The season / series finale. It was pretty good, I thought. It wrapped it all up. I mean, they gave Kat like a Kat's storyline has been a little confusing to me. Like, she's the femme fatale, but her storyline gets kind of like complicated, and I felt like this kind of helped put it to bed in a way that made sense, right?
Wait, sorry, I'm trying to switch it. I realized why it wasn't working. I didn't have it up on the screen, and that was from the previously on, so that didn't even matter. So a lot of this episode, I feel like, are people discovering. I do like how he has like the lightning. I mean, that's like the way, like that. I'm just noticing now as I'm looking at this, it's interesting the way they did the effect, because that's like the pattern people get when they're electrocuted. I'm thinking of like DPO and stuff. Because I think that's where I'm remembering it from X-Files. Like when a lot of times when people get electrocuted and they get like the burn or whatever. So that's interesting. But you do need that line in every. Responsibility line. I feel like a lot of this episode was about people accepting like the truth that they were kind of not, like they knew was there but weren't seeing because they didn't want to see it. Because like I feel like this whole time Silvermane knew, right? Like part of him knew that it was Kat. I feel like the whole time. At least that's how I felt. Like he didn't want to believe that she betrayed him, but I think he had an inkling even when he killed
Geo.
Which by the way, I should mention, because that will be hopefully within the next few days, I will have the interview with the guy that played Winston up, because I did end up talking to him. It was a cool interview. But yeah, I feel like he just didn't want to see it. And I kind of feel like the same could be said for Flint and this guy that I never remember his name.
Layden.
Like Silvermane was never going to give them the cure. He was using it as control so he could force them to do what he wanted. And they finally kind of realized what he's up to. And they're like, no, you're not going to keep the cure. I'm going to take it myself. And I don't know, maybe they weren't purposely blind to it, but
I mean, no, you're right. Layden says repeatedly, the problem is that like Layden in this, particularly this final episode, he's been becoming more powerful and he's becoming more arrogant, and he's more like, well, why are we doing his bidding? We're so powerful, we can do our own thing. He's, and then he says to Flynn, he's like, you don't think he's going to give us an antidote, right? No, he's going to keep it. It's his leverage, right? So you're right. But to me, it was like Layden is the least sympathetic of all the mutants, right?
Yeah,
like, sure, he's such a jerk that it's hard to go along with his explanation, with his with his way of thinking, even though he's correct.
No, he is, but I more felt bad for Flint, not for him. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think you're supposed to really feel sympathetic to him,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest. But aside from that, because there is obviously the big battle with the Spider and Leighton, which we'll get to. There's the whole thing with I know they used that kid to make the Shadow. I forget exactly what the whole plot point was with that, but it was funny when they used him. But there's the whole thing with Silvermane making Ben come, and he wants him to get the Spider because he wants the Spider to work with him, or more so wants to use the Spider, but that's not what he's saying. And he's like, if you don't go get him, I'm going to shoot her, and I know you care about her, so you won't let that happen.
Well, that's kind of late into that happens very late into the conversation.
Okay, well, first he's like, you got to call him. First he says he'll call him and he'll get him and everything. But yeah, maybe I'm skipping something then. I thought that was kind of next. Like I said, I didn't take tons of pictures because I knew we were doing more than one episode.
He sends his goons over to Ben's office, right? And they're like, oh, he wants to see you. And Ben goes along. He already is aware at this point. Janet already told him that Kat's like, listen, give me the antidote. I can get close to these guys. I can get close to Flint. I can get close to Leighton. I can inject them. It's the least I can do, Ben, after how I betrayed you, right? And so he's kind of into it. That all happens. And then he's brought over to Silvermane's, and Silvermane is like, yeah, call the Spider. It's kind of hilarious that he calls and he gets Robbie, and Robbie does a Nick Cage impersonation.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
That was kind of great.
He did a decent job too, and it just was funny.
I think he does too. And he's already there was also that funny part where he's like, I want you to call the Spider, and Ben's like, well, I have to get paid, and they negotiate that. Ben wants $10,000. He ends up settling for $2,000 from Silvermane to make the call to Spider-Man.
Yeah. And I thought that the whole
Spider,
call was hilarious,
right?
But when
he's going to have to get paid because Ben wants to get paid so he can
do whatever. Yeah. But whenever he I got I thought
so then he makes the call, right?
Yeah. But I thought the call was really funny. But then whenever he's demanding he get there, I didn't expect them to have Robbie actually dress up like him and show up. That was great. I didn't.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. Well, because Silvermane's Ben's like, give me my money. I called him, and Silvermane's like, no, you only get the money if you show when he gets here. And Ben's like, no, you said you'd give me the money if I called him.
Yeah, because Ben was totally going to run off and turn into him and then come back and that plan didn't work. It went to pot, and he had to figure out what to do. But Robbie and Janet took care of it, which was great. So he shows up as him, and that was a big shock. Except then I forget, somebody stabs him with the injection. I don't remember who.
Oh, well, so much happens before that, though, right?
Yeah.
The Spider shows up, and they have this funny negotiation, and the Spider kind of Robbie threatens to does he threaten to fight them or whatever? And Ben's like, no, I think it would be a good idea to take a minute here and think about it. And Robbie's like, no. It's funny because it's Ben has to remind Robbie that Robbie's not the Spider, Ben is, and Ben's not up for a fight right now because he just got the shit beaten out of him yesterday.
Yeah, but also he's not the one dressed as him. So if he attacks him, he's screwed. There's also the one part I did completely skip that I shouldn't skip. That's really important is that Silvermane thinks Ben is the Spider. That's kind of part of why this whole thing is set up, because he's like, you're just going to turn into the Spider and save her or whatever. And he's like, no. And that's why it's a shock to everybody.
He thinks it because this is the point where Leighton shows up and recognizes it. Leighton's been saying I think I recognize you. I think I recognize you. Right. And then Leighton's like, oh, you're at the POW camp. And that's, I think, the moment when Silvermane's like, oh, you're the Spider.
Okay. Yeah. So either way, he never thinks he's going to show up. He thinks that he's going to prove it. And then he actually shows up, but it's Robbie.
No, he didn't think that he didn't think he wouldn't show up because Ben was a Spider. He doesn't get that idea until after Leighton says it. Right.
I thought that's when maybe I'm wrong. I'm mixing it up then, because I thought that he told him that he had to bring him there, and he said, you're not going to do that, that you're going to save her because you're the spider. That's what I was thinking, like when he had the gun on him, he said that, but maybe I'm not. Maybe
no, I think you're right. I think it's when Robbie's like, yeah, I'm the spider. I'll be right over. Click. And then Layton comes in and says, I recognize you.
Yeah,
because and then Robbie arrives just at the right moment to save Ben from this. From that's when he's going to shoot Cat. That Jamie is when he's going to shoot Cat, right?
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like originally, I think Ben was just going to run out and run back in as the spider. Like that was the intent and the plan. But then he's like, "No, you're not leaving. We're going to wait for him." And then that's where the whole plan like fell apart.
And then he's like, "Oh, admit you're the spider. If I shoot Cat, you'll have to." And it's kind of ingenious, right? He's like, if you're not the spider, I'll just shoot her. But if you are the spider, you can't let an innocent life be killed. You'll have to reveal yourself.
And like all villains, he spent so much time explaining his plan that Robbie could do, which is great. But yeah, I don't remember. I do know, like I said, at one point Robbie gets injected. I just don't remember how that connects.
Oh, yeah, because the fight breaks out here. Right. And Cat, like, well, a fight breaks out because after, I mean, they do have some conversation with the spider for a while. Right. And they catch Janet. Janet was hiding outside. Janet gets brought in and, all this happens. That's how the antidote gets in there. Janet has the antidote and she's caught sneaking around outside, and they bring her in and she's got him because remember Ben doesn't have the antidote because they wouldn't let him take his coat in like the first scene.
Right. Yeah.
So she gets in there with it. They
give it to him, and it clearly doesn't take his powers away because he's not him.
Yeah. So what happens is Layden stabs Robbie because he thinks he's the spider, and then he shocks him so he can like kill him, right? And so it works, but because
not for the reason
not the spider, right? It only works because Robbie's not the spider.
Yeah. So that's really funny. But and it leads to, I'm sure there's probably more in there, but it does eventually lead to them. I love that shot. Lead to them fighting outside, him and Layton. Yeah. Like the big battle.
Yeah. And there are like people on the street, right? It's kind of cool.
Yeah, all the spectators. But there's a whole bunch with him fighting him, and he's not winning. Wait, we'll get to that in a second. He's not winning because Layton has, Ben has powers, but Layton has, this crazy electricity, and he does have to recharge it, but it feels like, or at least to me, other than, he's not going to die because he's, the main character. It feels like he's going to be able to defeat him for a while, and like you're kind of trying to figure out how he's going to get away. And then while this is all going down, they have this brilliantly shot sequence with Cat and Silvermane.
I'm not sure why there was a house of mirrors in the next room, but
I don't know. Just because I don't know. Was it at the club? I guess it was at the club, wasn't it? I don't know. But it looked really cool, and it was sort of that tropey, like keep shooting the mirrors until you shoot the person. But it looked really cool. But I was surprised she actually shot him. Like I didn't think he was going to just die right there. So I was kind of surprised when she shot him and he fell, and like that was the end of Silvermane. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
I thought it was a good closure to her arc that she gets to be the one to, like she should get to be the one to kill him because she's the one who's been under his control the entire season.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, for sure.
He treats her like a possession.
Yes, and she wants freedom.
Yep.
So that's the end of Silvermane. But yeah, I thought that was at the club.
Yeah.
And then there's more of their fight, which looked really cool. And then I'm trying to remember why the hell Flint ends up in the middle of it.
Well, they were both in it because they were both in the club, and the fight spills out.
They were both fighting Ben, but then at a certain point, Flint's fighting.
No,
Late.
What happens is, to me, I thought Flint was a little like, okay, Spider-Man's had enough. You don't have to kill him. He doesn't ever say that.
Oh, that's right. He kind of says, he tries to get him to stop it at the end.
And then what happens is Kat comes outside now with the gun, and she's going to save Ben, and she tells Layden, "Stop, or I'll shoot." And
He's going to
Layden's
kill
like,
her. Yeah.
well, she has no bullets left, and so then Layden shocks Kat, and that's why Flint turns on Layden, because he attacks Kat.
Yes.
Right.
And then so Layton grabs him and he turns his sand to glass. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yes,
He
yes,
grabs
it was
his arm
cool.
and turns it to glass. It was cool. And I'm not sure if like he was supposed to regenerate his arm. They later have him having his hand in his pocket, so I think his arm was gone. But they kind of did it in that way they do in old timey shows because they don't have the effects budget or don't have effects done for that matter. So I assume that he really ripped his arm off, but they didn't show it. But yeah, so he attacks him and obviously he doesn't kill him, which by the way, that sand on his face, I assumed that was all digital. That is not digital.
Oh,
They covered that. Yeah. That's what I was going to remind people who didn't know about it, that I had put up on scifivision.com is the interview with Warren Allen Young. He was the production designer. And he talked about that makeup and stuff. As well as I almost forgot to ask him about the black web. I was at the end. I'm like, oh wait, that was the one thing I really wanted to know, and I did ask about. But yeah, so they are fighting, and he rips his arm off, and eventually Spider-Man flings him on in front of the train or something.
Yeah,
right?
It's kind of awesome. Spider-Man ends up getting him. The spider gets him with web and flicks him in the air, and a train like wipes him out.
Yeah, and he ends up getting hit by the train. So that was the end of him.
Although, I think it's kind of left. Do you think he could be alive? Like, it's kind of left open if he's alive or dead, right?
I mean, in a show like this, yeah, he could be, but in real life, no. But this isn't real life, so definitely could be. So this is after where they're like thanking him. That's where I said like his arm's in his pocket, so I assume that he doesn't have a hand.
Oh well, because Ben gave Kat the last antidote to give to.
Oh, yeah, that was important. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, Ben gave him, and she kind of is like surprised, like, why aren't you taking it? And he made the decision. He listened to Robbie finally, and he knows that it's more important that he gets it. And he also got that. I don't remember what his explanation was, to be honest.
She says, "Why are you doing this?" And he says, "You know the answer. So does he."
Yeah. So does he. Yeah. Which is that he loves her, but he also knows that she loves him, and so he doesn't want her to lose him.
Yeah.
So he did the selfless thing and gave him the antidote. So they both get to live another day, and Ben is still the Spider for if they decide to have a season 2. Although I don't know how well this did, whether or not there will be a season 2, or whether there was even planned a season 2. I don't know, but and then
there's a little coda here, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that he leaves leave the practice to her? I can't even. I'm sorry.
No. Okay, so first of all, in that previous shot, I love that Janet is now like running a school almost, and this kid is like the kid is starting to get a little bit reformed, right? Look how nicely he's dressed.
Yeah, the little pickpocket.
Yeah,
he's teaching to work for or whatever.
Yeah. And Janet's getting a new office. These workmen are here, like giving Janet an office, and then you see in the next shot that you see the sign on the door. The next shot you have, it's now called Riley and Ruiz. It's not like Riley Investigations. They're now part. Like Janet's been promoted, and now it's Riley and Ruiz. They're partners.
Yeah. So there you go. Kelly hopes there is a season 2. I liked it. I mean, look, I liked it. I don't know that I loved it. That like I was so in love with it that I have to have a season 2. Excuse me. I did enjoy it, and if there's another season, I'll watch it. But there were parts of it that were slow. I mean, if I'm honest, like some of it did drag a little bit, but overall, I liked it, and I enjoyed. Even though I didn't think I would like the whole detective noir part of it, I did. I thought it was funny, even though a lot of it was Nick Cage completely over the top. It was hilarious. So yeah, I didn't mind it.
I thought it started pretty slow in the first couple episodes, but it got better, and I liked it more as it went on.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it got more I don't want to say, I mean, obviously it is Marvel, but it's the Sony side of Marvel, but it got more comic book superhero-ish.
It's not the Sony side of Marvel. It is Sony who owns this character, but they're collaborating with Marvel on Spider-Man because they can't make a decent show or movie. With the
right.
with
Spider-Man are pure Marvel, though. They're not Sony working on the
no,
Spider-Man.
Sony owns Spider-Man. Sony owns the character Spider-Man.
Yes, but there were Sony movies and there were Marvel movies. I meant the Marvel movies are from the Marvel.
No, the Marvel movies are because Sony collaborated with Marvel on them. They didn't buy them.
I thought they had the rights to them now. I didn't realize
they do not own that character back again.
Okay. Well, they have either way. They have the Marvel name on it, so rather than Sony.
They're collaborate. They have both names on it.
No, I know. They don't. They're not advertised as that. Probably because they make more money when they advertise it as Marvel. Let's be honest. But anyway, my point is it. What I was trying to say is that it became more superhero-ish, more comic book-ish. It went from more the noir to more of having like that part of it in it. I think is when it got less boring, at least to me. It's made it speed up a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if there's a question there. I didn't really.
No. I was just saying, like, I think that's when it sped up, is when it started bringing in like the more comic book-esque.
Yeah,
stuff.
like I think I complained in the early episodes, like Ben isn't even really the spider at all in the opening episodes, right? You see almost no spider action. And it got better. It played really just like a noir detective movie for the first three, which is that fine? Yeah, but I mean, I think it was good. Like if it got a second season, I'm just not sure what there is to tell in a second season that wouldn't be almost exactly the same. Like if you're going to stick with the noir, you've got to have a femme fatale. You've got to have right.
Yeah. Well, I assume there would be some kind of different powers. Yeah. Which technically if you think about it, every Spider-Man movie is kind of the same formula too. So you can't, to some extent.
Every superhero movie is the same formula. You are right.
That is true.
Yeah, maybe there's, there's more to tell as Ben is now finally embracing or re-embracing being the spider at the end of this, right? Like he's given up being a spider ever since Ruby died, and now he's ready to be the spider, and maybe there's some good story to tell there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I do like the idea though that he was sort of this washed up superhero. So I don't know, like some of that you might lose.
Was he washed up? He was reluctant.
Well, not what? Yeah, I guess reluctance a better idea, a better term. But like aged out of it, kind of like doesn't want. Yeah, reluctance probably a better.
I mean, he was pretty old when he was changed. There's a big difference between your Tom Holland Spider-Man, who's like 16 when he gets superpowers, and like your Nick Cage, who is liberating a Nazi or a Nazi World War One. A German, it's a German. I'm not sure what II. It might have been World War One. A German, but a POW camp. He's been in a horrible war, and he's liberating POWs when he becomes a spider, right?
Yeah. I think part of what I liked about this show though is I did like kind of that blend of humor that was in a lot of it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that because I was just as you were saying that I was thinking of his like spider. That he had going on.
Here's AJ right on time for us to wrap this up, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, because we've got 2 shows.
Yeah.
Yep. You guys have Star City and then House of the Dragon. So yeah, that's it I guess, for me until you guys get to the end, and then I will pop back in, but I will go off camera for a bit, and I will make sure I let Susie know that you're not too far from House of the Dragon because you're just going to do.
Do you want to do Star City first, AJ?
And
yeah.
Because it won't take long. Because this show is crazy.
Because it will not take as long.
All right.
Right.
Let me
get my self together. All right. Star City, episode 5.
If you say so.
Episode 5. Yep, this was episode 5. It is called, I forget what it's called. Bite Your Elbow. It's called Bite Your Elbow. Which of course is impossible to do, right? And it comes right on the heels of last episode ended with Irina telling Tanya that Valia is the mole.
That happens in this episode.
That's in this episode?
Yeah.
Oh no, you're right. She uncovers the information with the perfume bottle at the end of episode.
She figures it. Yeah, she takes a. She has a miraculous discovery, and then she's telling Tanya in this episode.
I was wondering this week, like, why Irina, a fledgling little baby KGB agent, is allowed to carry this piece of espionage evidence around with her in her pocket to test.
Well, because she was sent to find out more about it.
Yeah, it just seems like a little sloppy.
Remember the previous episode when she went and the guy ran and the fire started? He was burning.
Yeah.
Because Roscova sees something in her because she recognizes the fact that she's smart.
Yeah. So we pick up right where we left off. Like, she literally like walks out of the bathroom at the beginning of this episode, right?
Yeah.
So she's clearly like, so she starts like pushing Tanya, and she finally, like, you know, she's like, is he acting weird? Is he having an affair? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so she quickly, like, just tells the truth. She's like, oh, well, I know that Valia's a traitor. And she has to reveal where she works, right? Because she's like, no, you're not, you're a secretary. Anyway, she tells the whole truth to Tanya. What did you think about, why do you think she's doing it?
I guess maybe she just really likes Tanya because she feels like she knows her because she's been listening to her for so long.
Yeah.
Like
there's an intimacy there, at least on her side of it.
Yeah. I mean, she's heard her had sex with Sasha. She's heard her fights with Vanya. You know, she's letting it get personal. She's actually a bad KGB agent.
Yeah.
She's letting it get personal. I love how she reveals that she's KGB. She doesn't actually say she's KGB. She's like, I work in building 12.
Yeah.
And Tanya's like, oh fuck.
But Tanya's like not here for it. Like
no. Well, I mean, she's I think it's part she's scared, part she thinks she's crazy. You know, it's a lot to wrap your head around when you go from having tea with this nice lady whose daughter you teach to finding out she's a KGB agent who's been listening to you for God knows how long, you know what I mean? And that your husband's a spy.
Well, and she's horrified. Like, Irina's like, I'm gonna help you. He's the mole. I can help you. And Tanya's like, wait, did you listen to us having sex? Wait, did you listen to us arguing? And like, what she doesn't say, but we, the audience, like, we know it's hanging there, is like, did you hear me having sex with Sasha? Right?
Yeah. I think, and I think part of the, I mean, aside from the fact that she let it get personal, I think the reason she lets it get personal is something we find out later in the episode. Because as far as Irina knows, you know, Vanya's the bad guy here, or Valia's the bad guy here. She doesn't understand why he's the mole, which was to protect Tanya. She doesn't know that side of it.
Yeah, we only saw that last. We saw that as sort of like a U.S. report in the previous episode, right? Yeah.
So I mean, I think the reason Tanya's letting it get personal is because she's making associations between her life and Tanya's. Like, here's another woman that's going to get in trouble because of a man, so let me help her.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how you want to recap this, if we want to go back and forth, or let's just conclude their story here.
However you want to do it.
Well, I mean, what happens is Irina's like, I can help you. I'll get you the paperwork or whatever. Like, come meet me tomorrow. You have to leave him. And she's like, I'm not leaving him. Tanya's like, I'm not leaving him. And Irina's like, no, he's going to be arrested, which he's going to be arrested because you're going to turn him in, Irina, right?
Well, yeah, it's a job.
Well, yeah, but he wouldn't be arrested. Like, she wants to help Irina. She wants to help Tanya, but not enough to not turn in her husband, right?
Well, right. Because he's an evil man.
Is he? I mean, I guess what
No,
I'm getting
no, no, no. We see more. We know the whole story.
yeah. I guess maybe what I'm getting at, I'm talking myself into a little bit here, is like Arena's becoming a true believer. Like in episode 1, I thought maybe it was just kind of just a job, but we've seen how ambitious she is over the last few episodes, right?
And we know how ambitious she becomes.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think part of it's also Yana was an innocent woman who was framed and got killed because the KGB can't admit they make mistakes.
Yeah. And so now she has to fully commit.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of her fault Yana was killed. Well, it's definitely her fault Yana was killed.
No, it wasn't her fault. She's not the one that said she was the mole. It was that nosy body.
The nosy.
Hold on, let me get it right. The infantile rat.
Yeah, yeah. But okay, so Yana was killed, and I guess maybe part of Arena needs to make it like mean something, right? So she's all like, he's gonna be arrested. She doesn't say he's gonna be arrested because I'm gonna turn him in. I mean, it's not clear to me. Okay, here's the thing. It looks like other people also listen to the tapes, right? Because like Tanya says something. This is the second time we see Arena having to like doctor a tape to cover her.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
Inside the house, right? Other people are going to. I guess. I mean, we see her in this episode with her like headphones on, but it seems like she's been promoted where she spends less time like listening to tapes and more time in the field, right? She's not like a
the field part of it, she's kind of taken upon her own.
Yeah. But other people listen, so he would probably get turned in anyway, right? Like,
yeah.
Although he might not, like they might find him, but
no. I mean, the only reason that she knows he's guilty is because she found the perfume bottle.
And if she didn't run into the living room and say your husband is the spy, then nobody would know.
Right.
Yet, like, would they come to?
But she's got to turn him in to cover her own ass with with everything.
Yeah, with her inappropriate behavior, like palling around with her person that she's supposed to be listening to and stuff like that. Do you think? I'm constantly wondering if Arena. Do you think there's a romantic or sexual attraction?
No, I just think it's a. I think Arena is very broken from what we I mean, let's just talk about their whole story. Later when Tanya gets away and she's, at the safe house and she sees the picture on the mantle, there's a young Arena standing next to the Premier, which up to this point, I'm saying, I feel like it's insinuating he might be her baby daddy. She's a lot, and she's a lot younger in that photo.
Because she's very paranoid about anybody knowing.
And with the rumors about the Premier liking younger women, it all tracks.
Yeah.
So I think she's a crusader for women because of her own past.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. When I saw that picture, I was like, oh, we know that Arena comes from a privileged background and is kind of elite, right? But that makes way more sense that maybe he's the baby daddy. Yeah.
Remember how she freaked out when Tanya asked about the father of her child.
Yeah, she did totally freak out about it. Yeah.
And she erased that part of the conversation.
Right? Yeah, she erased that part of the conversation so nobody would think about it. Okay, so in the meantime, our friend Ludmilla, last week she arrested Sergei, right?
Yeah.
Poor Sergei. Last week she arrested Sergei for having a contraband book in his locker, which apparently like everyone does, right? It's not that big a deal. So this week, the chief designer, he's like, okay, I need my guy. What do you want? Right? Is that basically how that went?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, she basically arrested Sergei because she knew the chief designer would do something that she needed done.
And what she needed was him not to blame her for the disaster in space that was 100% her fault.
Yes. Which
And
is
so
a smart move.
I mean, it is a smart move. She's very slick and very canny, right? And very dangerous. I kind of look, I hate her, but I kind of like her. She's kind of awesome, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can enjoy we can not like the person, but we can enjoy the character.
And she's basically providing a lesson and a blueprint for how Arena is going to have to behave and what she is going to have to do to get the role that she eventually gets in For All Mankind.
Yeah, and you know, and the thing we have to remember too is this is the early 1970s, and while women have positions of power, it's still a man-dominated world.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
She's got to work twice as hard at being sneaky.
Yeah. And the chief designer is happy to go. I love that he's just called the chief designer. He's happy to go along with it because he's got his own whole kettle of fish brewing that Ludmilla, that Roskova has no idea about, right? Like, I still can't get over the idea that he's sending people to Venus. I love it. I mean, that's one of the things I love about this is, like, we never heard the word Venus ever on For All Mankind.
Yes, we did.
We did?
They did. They mentioned that the Russians had sent probes to Venus.
Probes to Venus. Okay.
And that's what they're doing here. They're sending probes. Nobody knew there was somebody in the probe.
Right. Well, like, I was thinking the probe is like a drone, right? But actually they're sending and it's this wax spaceship that's made out of a diving bell that he got off the docks last week. Like, the whole thing is insane, right?
Yeah.
And he's like sending these people there. I mean, so what's his name? Sasha has agreed to go, right? Where's my picture of Sasha? Sasha has agreed to go. And then he comes home and has sex with his wife, possibly for the first time ever.
Well,
right?
actually, no. He agreed to go after they had sex. Because remember, he wanted no part of it. And then they got into and then he picked her up and they got in the huge fight. And
he said, no, I can't. He told the chief designer he wasn't going to go because he's so like PTSD over the explosion on the moon mission, right? And then the chief designer was like, get back on that horse and just do it, right? He goes home. He has a night of like genuine connection with his wife, which is the first time we've seen it. I think it's the first time they've had sex, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, don't forget. I mean, they were in an arranged marriage. These two would not be together otherwise.
No, but it was a genuine like thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't like the party wants us to have a baby. Let's just do this, right? No, they have a like genuine thing. I think he'd already agreed to go. Like they have sex next morning. He's like, oh, by the way, I have to go on a mission for 9 months, right?
Well, if he agreed before that, we actually never see him agree on camera.
Okay.
When he walks away from the chief designer, he's told him no. And the next time we see him with the chief designer, he is now all in. So we never actually see him accept it.
So do you think it's possible that he only decided to do it after he had sex with Anastasia?
Not because of, but I think more because of their conversation and, everything that, her feelings and everything. Like the conversation they had that night before they get into it,
her feelings about like, I'm never going to be able to go to space ever again. I love it so much.
Yeah.
She's the only person on this show that, Yana said, Yana's dead. So Anastasia Belkova, she's the only person on the show that I feel like is really passionate about, like, I want to go to space. I want to go to space. Like, I just don't see it in these guys.
Yeah, I don't feel it. I don't feel it from anybody else.
Nobody feels like they want to fly. Nobody feels like they which again was such a big part of For All Mankind in its early seasons, right? I do get maybe from Sergei like a real passion for space exploration, maybe much more than the chief designer, who like, I mean, I feel like he wants to push scientific boundaries and explore, but I don't know, like Anastasia is the only person who has that real passion. Like Sasha's like, oh, I gotta go to space for 9 months. Sorry, right? And he leaves her a letter. Like these letters are a thing, right? He leaves her a letter.
Yeah. It was a very nice letter, though.
Yeah.
It made her smile.
Well, because he does actually like say, like, it is clear that he actually is starting to have feelings for her, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, don't wait for me. It's like 9 months and I might die, but you know, they seem to be maybe going someplace with these two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So all this is leading up to the fact that they go to the lab where Sasha and Lakshmi and the other guy who we don't really know his name are all getting ready to go to space. Right?
Powell, Peyton, Houghton, something.
Pavel? It might be Pavel.
Pavel.
Yeah.
There you go. I knew I'd get you one between the two of us. We'd get it.
They're ready to go to space, and it's just so lucky that they're getting ready to go right when Tanya tells her husband, meet me at the park, right? Her husband, who I have to download these photos and like resize them and upload them. And so I have to do the name.
Kelly's got a good point.
What's Kelly's point?
9 months, he might come home to a baby.
Oh, that's yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that.
I didn't thought about it either, but 9 months is a very specific amount of time.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So Valia has just found out he's fucked.
Tanya's like, meet me at the park, right? And she's like, I hate to tell you, everybody knows you're the traitor. And he's like, what are you talking about, right? And she's like, I came to warn you so you can get away, but also I hate you because you're a terrible traitor, right?
I do wish he tried harder to explain to her why.
Like, they got me because you were a radical.
Yes.
Like, if you stopped importing your fake bootleg United States music, we wouldn't be in this position right now.
Well, it was a little more than that, but yeah.
So, but she's like, I can't believe you're a traitor. She's disgusted.
I know. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. No, Kelly, I know she wouldn't let him explain, but that's what annoyed me.
Oh yeah, Kelly's like, Tanya wouldn't let him explain. That's true, right? She's like, I don't want to hear it. Just get out of here before they come and get you. And I'm out of here also because like we skipped over the part where Ludmilla like goes into the files, gets a used pass, and like forges a pass for Tanya to get out of town. And she's like, go to Moscow, I'll meet you there.
Yeah, Rena's sneaky. She's smart.
She is smart, but that's part when she's like, I'll meet you there. I'm gonna like she's really going to great lengths to help this woman.
Yeah.
Who she caused problems for. So poor Valia. I feel sorry for him. I'm not sure why. I mean, I know why. Like, he's a traitor, but he got like every person we've seen on both these shows who became a traitor, they really were coerced and put in a bad spot, right?
Well, I mean, the problem is being a traitor in the United States isn't nearly as bad as being a traitor in Russia.
You mean like, consequence-wise?
He gets caught. He's getting a firing squad. You know, if Margot had gotten caught, she would have gotten prison.
Margot went to prison, but she was lucky because, like, tell that to the Rosenbergs. They were put to death, right?
Yeah, but she wouldn't have been. You know what I mean?
It's a show. But Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, who were spies, were caught and were put to death in the United States, right?
Yeah.
They were Soviet spies living in the U.S. and they were executed.
Yeah, but they were.
I guess they were. But they were.
They weren't Americans. They weren't Americans though.
Like the Americans.
They were posing as
Americans.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, Donald Trump threatens to execute people for
whatever
all the time. Anyway, yes, it is a much worse, it's a much more fraught situation. We are seeing that this show is showing us from the Soviet side where everyone's spying at everyone all the time.
Maybe that's why nobody's excited to do anything, because they live in the Soviet Union and they're like, they're just gonna take it away from me anyway.
Yeah.
But then again, on the flip side of it, you would think they'd be more excited about going to space to get the hell away from all the madness.
Well, and that's what happens, right? Valya's like, shit.
Yeah, Valya's like, 9 months, I'm gone. While I figure a way out of this.
And he runs, like, he ties Pavel up in the bathroom and is like, I'm here, I'm ready to go, let's go to space, let's go. And they're like, sure, get on the ship, let's go. It's insane. Like, on For All Mankind, those guys have to come, like, spend like 2 days getting ready, wear those suits, everyone, like, there's almost zero preparation. They're like, Valya, get in the capsule, let's go.
Well, Valya's a seasoned pro, so he already, and like I said, he's probably more prepared than the other two are.
Okay, but you don't still think it was a little hasty?
Anyway,
they're not going to space. They have to get in the diving bell and live in it for 2 days while they get smuggled, like, out of Star City to go to some launch pad somewhere, right? Like, the whole thing is insane.
I foresee, like, we know the probe makes it to Venus. What happens from there? I don't think they make it back. I think Anastasia is going to be a single mom.
Yeah, I mean, they could all die. It is, these are the same people who did For All Mankind. It's not beyond them to kill all these guys, right? And have, like, almost all new characters next season.
Yeah.
So this is when Raskova hauls Irina into her office.
Yeah, because nosy body.
Because nosy body. I'm looking up her name. Her name is Vika Yurgova. She, like, hates Irina for, like, she's jealous.
Well, she thinks she's jealous. She thinks she's better than Irina, and Irina's getting special treatment now, and she thinks she's got one up on her, and it turns out she makes herself look stupid.
Well, only because Irina, like, got lucky. Like, you're not supposed
to. Yeah, it's clearly she's not better than Irina. Irina is clearly better than her.
Yeah, but, like, she lies. She's like, oh, I was going undercover to find them. I know he's the mole. And she, like, gets out of jail free because she has this piece of information. She's very,
because she was right.
Yeah. I mean, she really, this is a big episode for Irina because she, like, got everything went right for her. Everything has been going right for her. How long can it's only episode 5. Something's got to go wrong soon, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of things that go wrong for Irina before she becomes the leader of Star City.
Yeah. I mean, there's years and years and years to go before that happens, right?
Yeah.
But, and so what happens now is we have, like, Valya and Sasha are up in space together, right? And Sasha is, like, all messed up from, like, his last mission going wrong. And, like, is it kind of Valya's fault? I mean, it's Raskova's fault, but it's kind of, like,
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where if you go back far enough, it's everybody's fault. You know,
Valya put the transmitter on the ship, right? So, I mean, right? That has to come while they're in space.
In a way, yes, it is Valya's fault because he put the transmitter in there. But I put that right at the feet of Raskova. She didn't have to make that rash decision that she made. The safety of the cosmonauts should have been first and paramount.
Yeah.
And it was not for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's Russia. That's, people always come second.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else?
Did you like this episode better? I know you're not a fan of the show.
It's not a bad show. It's just, like you said, there's no pizzazz to it. There's no, I don't even care about a lot of the characters, really. There's no, maybe we're just not, it's episode 5 and I'm just kind of like, you know.
It's not what you hoped it would be.
And not only that, but, like, we love the Americans, but we instantly loved the characters. These characters, they're not
grabbing you. Not doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see. But House
all
of the
right.
Dragon.
We have
there's
held
some-
people now for House of the Dragon for a
Yep.
long time. So let us discuss. Season 3 is here of House of the Dragon. This piece of key art is very huge, and there are more people on the right and the left, and I had to chop them off so it would fit. So sorry if your favorite character isn't there, people. I chopped them out to make it work. Okay, season 3 is back. Before we jump into it, AJ, how did you like this episode?
I loved it. It was lots of action. I mean, they did not waste any time just jumping right into the fray of things. Actually, it's funny. I've been seeing online. People were complaining that they feel this should have been the finale of last season. I thought the finale of last season was perfectly fine, and I even enjoy it more when a season starts out with a bang like this. I mean, we had a battle, and everything.
And it was very dragon-y, right? Like for a show called House of the Dragon, where we saw pretty much no dragons in season 1. And then we saw more in season 2, but this was a super dragon-orific episode. Which I think we all appreciate.
Very interesting turn of events that I thought was an interesting choice that they made, which we can talk about as we get into it.
Okay, I'm just doing one little thing here with the computer. There's a bunch of different I didn't have that many photos here because I was pressed for time today, but I have a bunch of them, and I'm going to upload one more here before we go. Which part of the storyline do you want to tackle first?
I was just going to say the big story is what you call it.
Aegon having fled the castle.
The war of the gullet.
Okay.
I mean that's the
Battle of the Gullet. The Battle of the Gullet, which is a sea battle that takes place. What do they call the triumvirate? The
triarchy.
The triarchy, which is basically 3 tribes or kingdoms of pirates, kind of, right?
Yeah, essentially.
And they hate Sir Corlys here on the right because he defeated them, right? And he his navy controls the seas, and they hate him. And so they are easily brought together to go against him under the leadership of, I can't remember her name, this pirate queen.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either.
She reminds me so much of Yara Greyjoy from Game of Thrones, right? And I want to call her Yara Greyjoy. She's basically...
I liked her better than... Yara was fun, but I think she's more fun, or was more fun.
She is the person Yara wants to be, but she's not able to command these. So she is... Everybody's united in her, and her hatred of Corlys is palpable, right?
Yeah.
That battle was great, right? I don't want to get too... Because it's the climax with a bunch of other stuff happening... can we cover the small stuff pretty quick?
Sure.
Such as Aegon.
Her name is Lohar, apparently.
Lohar. Aegon flees the castle. Sir Larys is like, Aegon, wake up, we gotta go, we gotta go. What did you think when Sir Larys almost immediately delivers Aegon into the hands of people who are loyal to...
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, they were dead otherwise. They were putting everybody to death.
Well,
saying this is Aegon, take him prisoner was their only chance of survival.
Only because Aegon wouldn't bend the knee, right? Like, I feel like maybe if he had spoken to Aegon and prepared him a little bit, like on their, they're riding around in this like raven cage for a while and whatever, and he like.
Well, Aegon's an idiot. We've known this for.
Well, Aegon is an idiot, yes, and he was too dumb to see what was right in front of him. That he should have bent the knee right then, right? Like, oh, you're gonna be like, no, I can't bend the knee because I'm the king. Like, you're pretty pathetic right now, right?
Yeah, but I mean, Larys, he reminds me of Littlefinger,
Yeah.
He's always quick on on the spot and makes the best decision in the moment.
Well, and I feel like he had this plan all along because they didn't have to go. He took him riding into Rhaenyra's lands, right? Like he could have, like, if they're going to go into hiding, they could have stayed in their own lands where they wouldn't have to bend the knee to somebody else, right? I mean, is there more chance of being found? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Do you feel like Larys made a calculated move in taking Aegon into Rhaenyra country?
I mean, it was just didn't have any choice. I mean, that's why they were, traveling under the guise of, I forget what he said.
I mean, they had a choice. Well, they said they were going to the Citadel with these ravens, right?
Yeah.
But they had a choice. Like, Westeros is big, and they could have gone in any direction, and they went into country that is loyal to Rhaenyra. I just feel like Larys might have a plan there. Like he wanted Aegon to be.
No, because Larys has no leverage if Aegon's not king.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I wouldn't trust Larys if I'm somebody else.
I wouldn't, but like you said, he's like Littlefinger and he's playing 3 steps ahead of everyone. And maybe he wants to meet Rhaenyra. Maybe his way to get to Rhaenyra is with Aegon, right?
If he's trying to flip over to Rhaenyra's side, that's not going to last long.
I'm not saying he's trying to flip. I'm saying he might be playing like 3D chess here.
You sure it's not 5D chess?
5D chess? What? Oh yeah, 3D is normal, right? That'd be 5D chess.
5D chess is what Trump plays.
Yes, I think. I just think he might want to like be whispering in her ear. Also, he might.
I mean, you could be right. I don't think it's that.
He might have a plan to end this war, which ends up with him becoming Lord of wherever, right? Because Lord Larys is like, I don't know. Just saying.
You could be right. I just feel like he's just.
I feel like getting captured in the first 5 minutes of the episode was a boneheaded move, and he's not a bonehead.
Yeah, I think he's just working with what he has.
I mean, Aegon is a bonehead. Larys is not.
I mean, to be fair, Aemon is trying to kill his brother. So you can't really stick around anywhere there either.
Yes. Aemon is. Yeah. I mean, he did try to kill him. I don't think I downloaded a picture of Alicent, but what happened at the end of last season was where Alicent goes to Rhaenyra, and Rhaenyra's under the impression that Alicent is going to let her come into King's Landing and like kill Aegon, right?
Right.
And become the queen. Does anybody believe Alicent besides Rhaenyra?
I do.
You think Alicent was genuine?
Oh, absolutely. Did you see how pissed off she was when she found out that Aemon wasn't going anywhere and that Aegon wasn't there? Like her entire plan went out the window.
Yeah.
She was genuinely upset about that.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering if it was a plan to lure Rhaenyra to kill her, but maybe not. So maybe she's genuine. She just wants peace. She has always been kind of a nice girl who got in over her head thanks to her horrible father, right?
Yeah.
But of course, now Aemon is not going. Aemon's like, I got to stay here. My brother's gone. I got to stay here and like defend King's Landing or whatever. And that whole thing has gone wrong. And then Rhaenyra gets a horrible idea. Where's my picture of Rhaenyra? I know I have you, Rhaenyra, somewhere.
What's her horrible idea?
Well, she's like, I'm going to take my dragon and go fly down there by myself. Right? And Jace is like, you can't trust her. You can't trust her. No, I trust her.
That's because Jace is just this dumbass.
Well, Jace is pretty, and so, yeah. So what do you think about Jason Bela's idea? It's really all Jace's idea, right?
Jace's, I mean, it wouldn't have been, I mean, yeah, I don't think Rhaenyra needed to go to the Battle of the Gullet by herself, necessarily. But Jace is just, he's so cocky and he doesn't plan. He just jumps into action. He never plans anything. Everything he's done has always just been go, 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 go. And he thinks because he has a dragon that he can't be stopped, you know.
Because he's like
And
16, right?
yeah, he goes in there. Yeah, he goes in there half cocked, and oops, I died.
Bye bye, Jace. Well, and 3 of them go. So they lose 3 dragons, 2 dragons, right?
One dragon.
1 dragon.
Just Jace's dragon, Veramon.
No, there's another one that dies.
No, just Veramon.
Oh, because the first one washes up on the shore and is not dead, right?
Huh? Oh, you mean overall?
Overall, yeah.
I thought you meant during the Battle of the Gullet. Yeah, no, his brother's dragon is dead, and his brother, because Vagar ate him.
Oh, that was last season, right?
Yeah, that's why I got confused what you meant. Yeah, Bela, Moon Dancer is fine, and so is Sheep Stealer. They're the only other dragons in the battle.
Okay. This whole thing was kind of enraging to me. Okay, so we did have a lot of dragon in this episode, which is kind of cool, right? Like we had tons and tons of dragon in this episode, which was great. We always get to see a lot of dragons, right? Hang on, I'm trying to look up something here while I'm talking to you.
What are you trying to look up?
About this dragon business. Have you read this book, by the way? Have you read these books?
Yes, you know that.
Yeah, I can't remember what you've read and what you haven't read or whatever. Let's talk about the whole... Okay, before we go back to the gullet, can we talk about the whole sheep stealer thing?
Yeah, I had problems with the sheep stealer thing.
Yes. Are they because they've changed like the character who rides sheep stealer?
Well, I understand their reasoning. They're just trying to keep the cast down a little bit because sheep stealer in the book is ridden by a completely different character who's not even in the show. So yeah. I get that to a point, and I'm fine with Rhaena getting her. The problem I have is it happened too quick. Like, she bonds with the dragon really, really fast. Like in the book, the character Nettles takes like months to gain Sheep Stealer's trust.
Yeah.
And to train her and to, Rhaena does it like 5 minutes. So
yeah, I mean, I think it took a little longer than that, but yes, it was pretty quick.
No, I'm exaggerating the 5 minute part, but it was not long, Yeah. And then she thinks she's gonna, and again, she's young, so her going, oh, we're gonna go to the Battle of Gullet and we're gonna help, but she has no control over this dragon. So why she thought the dragon just burning everybody. She's like, no, they're friends. Stop.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Sheep Stealer goes after her sister and Jace, and it all went to hell.
Well, I think she saw the smoke and she's like, we have to go help. And she's like 14 years old and she makes a bad decision. And right?
Very bad decision. Yeah. She makes a bad decision worse.
Because she
and it's kind of ironic. It's kind of ironic actually, because so the first time that Veramon gets shot, and then Moon Dancer saves him. And it's funny because, all right, you know what? You didn't know about the catapult. The first thing I would have done after that happening would have been burn the ship that shot me. Then the second time was because he was trying to help Bela because Sheep Stealer was going after her, and that's when he got shot. Veramon got shot the second time because he didn't see it coming.
Vermax.
So I thought that was kind of funny, actually.
I mean, I kind of also wondered, so I thought it was kind of cool the way, what's her name? Shark.
Who?
The pirate queen, the pirate army, pirate navy, rather. It's kind of cool how they, Lohar. It's kind of cool how they've like got these like harpoons they can shoot at the like they've planned this. They know dragons are coming. They're planning this, right? I thought it was kind of cool that they thought of that. I did also think too, like dragon, just turn around and burn the rope, or like moon dancer, you don't have to cut the rope, just shoot some fire at the rope and burn it, right?
You know,
Like,
I honestly, I thought the same thing. I was like, how can this dragon not just turn its head and bite the fucking rope?
yeah, right.
I was wondering it a little myself about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything else at the Battle of Gullet, minus Sheep Stealer, everything else pretty much how it exactly played out in the book.
So Sheep Stealer doesn't intervene in this battle in the book.
No. You have to remember though, the book isn't a book. Like it's written like a historical. Right? It's written like a historical book by a maester. So there's a lot of things that aren't specific. So I think that's what makes the show kind of fun. It's because like they can follow this story, but put their own spin on things, and it's not wrong because it's not specifically said in the book. You know, a lot of book people are like, oh, well, this is how it was done here, and you know, that's literal and specific. Whereas this is more of a broad kind of sort of.
Yeah.
So they can play with stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, the addition of Sheep Stealer, I thought was an interesting choice, because that's definitely going to have repercussions.
Yeah, I mean, I think every single viewer agrees that Raina, that's her name, right? Raina. She made an impulsive decision, and she brings this dragon that's been tamed for about, it's not really tame dragon. This dragon's been tolerating her for about 5 minutes. And she brings it into this battle. She can't control it, and it has no, like, the first thing it does is burn the rock. She's like, those aren't the enemy. Like, it doesn't know the reds from the greens from the blacks. It doesn't listen to her. It's just like, woohoo, let's burn some shit, right? It's very it goes in this, I was kind of surprised it went against the other dragons, because I thought all dragons could kind of, I don't know, talk to each other and be friends, but I realized it's a rogue dragon.
That is not how it works.
No, we've seen dragons kill each other kind of like on command.
I mean, it's literally called the Dance of Dragons.
Yes, but it is called Dance of Dragons. But dragons were lost in this episode because of human decisions. Like as I was watching this, I was like thinking, yeah, this is how the Targaryens, like, because of the human Targaryens, the dragons were wiped out. And what we're seeing in this series is like the end of the dragons and the end of how they destroyed themselves, and they basically like made this species become extinct. But right, and this is an example of a dragon like being killed, like when Jace goes into the water and dies, and his dragon dies, and it's because of these humans causing this war, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of dragons, I thought of Jamie when in the first 5 seconds of this episode, Sheep Stealer burns up and eats a sheep.
That's like, what they eat.
I know, but I was like, Jamie can't watch this show because a little sheep just got killed.
Well, maybe Jamie should wonder where her hamburgers come from.
Yep. All right, so Jace died. So you knew this was coming because you've read the book, right? So you knew Jace would die in this.
Yeah,
battle?
I knew Jace. I mean, I assumed it because I mean, you never know what changes they're going to make to the show, but I had a pretty good feeling that they were going to stick with that one.
For a second when he was trying to like unhook himself from the dragon, I was like, oh, he's going to drown with his dragon. How poetic. Then he gets free and he pops up, and I was like, oh, could he possibly live? And then he gets shot with like 3 arrows and dies. And guys are cheering, right? Because they know that they killed the Targaryen prince.
Well, yeah. I mean, they might not know specifically who he is, but they just killed a dragon rider who is probably a Targaryen.
Yeah, because there's only like 6 dragons, and only Targaryens can ride them, pretty much.
Right.
And so they kill him, and there's no thought whatsoever of capturing him because these are pirates. So that was kind of, I mean, it was kind of terrible. Like, it's terrible. Like Rhaenyra, we've had this theme of like a son for a son. Rhaenyra lost a son. Alicent needs to lose a son. And now Rhaenyra's lost 2 sons. Now, this is not Hightower's fault. Like, this was a battle with pirates, right? Of course, they were fighting on the side of the Greens.
Yeah, I mean, they were sent by Aemon. So
they were sent by Aemon, but really they were fighting because they just hate Corlys so much.
Well, yeah, that's why they agreed to it.
Yeah. So anyway, so the battle was now back to the battle. It was pretty great, right? I thought it was really well done. I thought there's a lot of CGI going on here with the ships and they're crashing into each other, and it was all very exciting.
It's crazy because like the winner is a loser. Like sea battles, even the winner's a loser because their ships are just shot. Like it's like they just running into each other and capsizing and
yeah. I mean, we saw like with now I had another photo that I did not save, but in this photo where Corliss and on the left is his son Alan, right? That's Alan.
yeah.
They basically they end up fighting like hand to hand with I cannot remember her name. Lohar. They end up fighting hand to hand with her. It's kind of it's really exciting and cool. And then Alan ends up killing her in this really great battle in the water where he's trying to drown her and they're fighting, and it was pretty exciting and great.
The whole fight and battle was good.
It was really well shot and well done, I thought. But
yeah, one thing Game of Thrones has always done really well is their battles.
The battle scenes are always great. But to your point, at the end of it, Alan, like, he's killed her, he stands up and looks around, and like there's just total destruction everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like Corliss's castle is on fire, the fleet is destroyed. They've won, but it's a total debacle. What did you say? Both sides lose?
Yeah, even the winner loses.
Yeah. And so that was the end of the episode, I think, right? That's really all that happens.
Yeah, I think that's the end of the episode. I don't remember.
Go ahead.
I was just say, the other side of it is when the Starks join Daemon in one of the smaller B stories.
Oh, early on we saw Daemon has defeated the Lannisters, right?
Yeah.
And then more
all of a sudden all the Northmen show up with the Stark banners, and they're like, oh god, we gotta fight some more, what's going on here? And the Starks, they toss him the head of a Lannister.
Oh yeah. Jason Lannister,
yeah, and he picks it up and he's like, all right. What are we doing here?
Yeah. That, I guess, we glossed over it. It's probably kind of pivotal, right? Like, I'm sure that Daemon is going to play a huge role with his armies before the season is over. I'm interested in more of the sheep stealer stuff just because I'd like to see Rhaena is going to have like a lot to answer for, right? Like, she's kind of, is she responsible for, she's responsible kind of, like, she never should have done this, right? Is Jace dead because of her?
No. Jace is responsible for, but she is responsible for the death of the men on the ships that Sheep Stealer burned that were her grandfathers.
Yeah. I mean, this is why the Targaryens have a system where they introduce the kids to dragons in a very controlled environment with a dragon master handy, right? Like, to think that she had tamed this dragon was kind of insane. I know she has something to prove, but yeah, there's gonna be hell to pay.
I have no problem with her taming Sheep Stealer and everything, but it was too rushed.
And so, is it me, or like throughout, I felt like Sheep Stealer appears to be a much larger and a much larger dragon than Vermax.
Oh, Sheep Stealer is huge.
Yeah,
is
Sheep Stealer bigger than up to now, Aemon's dragon is the largest, right?
Vhagar, yes. Vhagar might still be larger than Sheep Stealer. Sheep Stealer is large, but they're large in different ways.
Also, I don't know, but I feel like being wild might give like sheep stealer some advantages. Like he's
Yes
not
and no. I understand what you're saying about that, but Vagar being trained is more, I mean, couple that with Eamon's brilliance.
yeah. Well, yeah,
So
an untrained dragon is not a useful tool.
yeah, I mean, if she can't even control it, doesn't matter how, what kind of advantage a wild dragon might have.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, Moon Dancer chased it off. So
Yeah. Yeah, Moon Dancer's kind of small too, right? And Moon Dancer chased it off. So that'll be great to see. I'm really interested to see, like, I mean, it's gonna be horrible. Poor Rhaenyra's reaction to losing another son, right? I mean, Jace is dead. It's Jace ran off unauthorized and should not have gone, right?
yeah, locked his mother in her room.
Locked her in a room. He takes off. Then he talks Bela into going with him, right? Who she didn't have to go, but she goes. So he talks her into going. The whole thing goes kind of badly. I don't think they really helped Corlys win because they were pretty quickly taken out of the battle by the big.
No, they definitely helped because they did burn. Between Jace and Bela, they did burn a lot of the ships
Before they were taken out of it by the harpoon
Yeah,
guns.
I mean, essentially, technically speaking, they won because they killed Lohar.
Yeah.
And the plan was perfect because when they took Lohar away from the action, it kind of like without your commander, you don't. It's like now it's a free for all.
Yeah. And then I'm interested in, so this really went nowhere. So Aegon, it's a very short sequence where Aegon is like, flees the castle and then is captured by men loyal to Rhaenyra, who were going to kill him until Laris is like, that would be a bad idea. You'd probably get killed yourself, right? Like, bring him to Rhaenyra.
Yeah. And something else it was a quick scene but important. When Alicent wrote a letter to the High Towers, telling them to stay there until Aemon showed up, and Aemon's not coming.
Aemon
so
had not going. Yeah.
So
she's gonna get caught, don't you think?
I think now she tries to talk Aemon into leaving. I mean, I think she's going to continue to try to talk Aemon into stealing or to leaving because she has no way to contact Rhaena, tell her not to come. Rhaenyra to tell her not to come.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Not to mention, Aemon has a crush on his mommy.
Oh, so that was some creepy shit, huh?
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming because the way they were just looking at each other. I was like, oh yeah.
So do you think it was like mutual, or do you think?
No, she looked creeped out. She looked totally creeped out, but she's afraid of Aemon,
as she should be.
And she's trying to manipulate him, but she's being very cautious about it.
Yeah. So pretty soon, Rhaenyra is going to have her favorite son Aegon as a hostage, hopefully next episode, and that will be a big motivator for Alicent. But Aemon doesn't care. Aemon would.
Well, it's all the whole thing's all messed up now because with Aegon leaving the castle and Aemon saying that he abdicated and he's now the king, it changes the whole landscape.
Right.
And who's to say that Aegon? And who's to say Aegon even gets to Rhaenyra before she leaves?
Okay, but if he does, like he could say, "I didn't abdicate; I was kidnapped." Right? I don't know. I mean, you know more, and you're probably trying not to say anything. I appreciate that.
No, I'm going on what the show's giving us.
Yeah.
I only mention book stuff after things have happened, and I say, okay, this is what happened in the book compared to what we're seeing here. I don't.
Yeah.
Speculate based on the book. I speculate based on the show. I really want to know is what's Rhaenyra going to wear now when she's when she rides a dragon, she totally destroyed her outfit.
She was like, I'm so mad. I'm locked in here. Let me destroy my riding leathers. Yeah.
Speaking of which, that's another thing I thought about, which I thought was a completely stupid move on Rhaina's part. Sheepstealer doesn't have a saddle. You are riding Sheepstealer bareback. Now, granted, Sheepstealer has a lot of spikiness to hold on to.
Yeah.
But that can end very bad. I mean, Sheepstealer flies upside down. You're toast. You have nothing holding you in.
It reminded me a little bit of in Harry Potter when Harry, Ron, and Hermione escape from Gringotts and they like ride on the back of a dragon, but it has these big spikes they can hold on to, right? Kind of like what Rhaina was doing. Yeah. There was no. I mean, when she first jumped on Sheepstealer, I was like, oh, is she trying to break this Bronco because she's going to get herself killed, right? Like, she's in way too much of a hurry. Like as you said. In the books, it takes months for Nettles to like tame him and get on him, right? And I can see that makes sense.
And it's interesting, and I get why they're doing what they did, because in the books, Rhaina doesn't really do shit.
Yeah,
much smaller role.
So they combined her with this other person, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I wish if they were going to do that though, if they just like Nettles, because Nettles was an awesome character. So it just sucks that they decided to scrap Nettles instead of one of the other three that are Dragon Riders.
Oh yeah, those guys are they had a scene in the beginning, but one guy was like, "Look, I'm out of here. I'm not going in this war with these dragons. I'm not even gonna." It's like, do I get a house? No. Do I get whatever? It's like, I'm out of here, right?
That was so funny. Like, you get a horse. He goes, what the fuck am I going to do with a horse? I got a dragon.
Yeah. Well, if you're named a sir, people will respect you. He's like, they'll respect me because of my dragon. But he takes off, right?
He's like, think of the women you'll get. He's like, I get more if I had a castle.
Yeah, I don't know if that guy will come back or if they're going to have to replace him with another Targaryen.
Well, I mean, nobody's actually left yet. I mean, he kind of storms off, but he doesn't. We didn't actually leave.
Yeah.
What'd you think about it when the witch showed up?
You know, I hated it because I forgot about that. Was one of my most hated storylines of last season. I mean, the entire Daemon storyline was horrible last season.
That was annoying.
And I was like, oh my God. And you know, the witch storyline was among my least favorite parts of like Jon Snow and all that up at the wall and in with the witch. And I just I was like, oh, she's back. I hated that.
See, I like the Melisandre stuff.
Oh no, I guess not Melisandre, but I mean, she's a witch, but it was not my favorite stuff.
She was totally a witch. She brought Jon back from the dead. Come on.
Yeah, it was not my favorite stuff. And there's other witch stuff that I didn't like, and I really hated that last season.
You birthed a shadow creature. I mean, come on.
I mean, last season was mostly like Daemon having like
a breakdown,
hanging around Harrenhal.
Daemon. I didn't like the Daemon stuff last season.
I was not happy to see that witch show up at Dragonstone and be like,
I didn't understand why. I didn't understand the point of her showing up.
No, and she gets right into where the dragons live, which seems to me to be a high security area, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was sorry to see her back.
So, anything else?
No, I think that's it. Good episode, good season premiere, I think, right? Very exciting. Now we probably won't get a battle now for like 6 more episodes, but that's all right.
Yeah, probably.
We'll get a lot of...
I'm curious to see how they... See, I thought when they first announced House of Dragon, I could see 3 seasons. And based on their pacing, I still see 3 seasons. So I'm not really sure how they're going to stretch it out to 4. It'll be interesting.
And so I'm not saying that we know the ending, but we know that the Targaryens, like, destroy themselves and the dragons are driven to extinction, right? So it's not going in a happy direction for these animals and these people.
No. You know what's really funny? Something I've always gotten a kick out of is all these people running around saying, the usurper, the usurper, the usurper. It's like, you're all fucking usurpers because Westeros used to have 7 kings, 1 for each land.
Yep.
And then the Targaryens showed up and said, "I'm the king of everything." So who, and then Robert Baratheon takes out a Targaryen king, and then Dany spends her whole life going, "Oh, I got to defeat the usurper." But Targaryens took the land from the people before to begin with, and I'm sure those people took the land from people before that. So
I saw like a headline or a subhead today.
Always funny.
That was like, as far as Aegon, they were calling it the usurped usurper, or like the usurper is usurped, because he's like, Aegon is called the usurper, but Aemond usurped him.
Yes. Yeah, because he wasn't, because Rhaenyra should have been queen from the start.
Yeah.
Based on where how things started.
Well, even Allison admits it. Yeah.
So
all right. I guess that's about it. Is Jamie there?
Once again, we're in a situation where, because she's a woman, people were like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, Rhaenyra's got the shaft for the entire show, right?
Oh, that's a great line that she says earlier. I forget the exact quote, but she says something like, "I was cursed with the frail body of a woman, but the
heart of a man," or something.
Heart of a man, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks for her.
Jamie,
come back to us, Jamie.
I am here. You got the picture still up.
You were also muted, so we didn't know you were here.
No, yeah, I'm waiting.
All right, well, we're finished. Thanks everybody for listening to our
stuff. Our 3.5 hour show.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, make sure if you're not a member of our Discord, you join to get our schedule. Because like I said, we will be having a live stream Thursday. Not 100% sure whether it's going to be Widow's Bay or we're going to have a From show and be moving Widow's Bay. But we'll let you all know. But Friday at 11 Eastern, I will be having my birthday bash live stream. So make sure you guys come. We're going to play some games. Was taking the time here. I was reading it and trying to figure it out. I'm going to probably, if you guys want to go in Discord, I was going to mess with some of my, found some free ones through Amazon to at least try and see how it goes. And then I'm probably going to order one and mess with it. So we're ready for Friday, but I hope you guys will all join us then. And yeah, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hype if you can, and check out our interviews that are all available now, and there'll be more From interviews coming soon as well.
And next week's show will be a lot more contained because we're dropped. 2 shows are coming off. We only have Vampire Lestat, Star City, and House of Dragon next week. So
yes, it'll be a lot less.
Yep. Sure.
All right, guys. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, you guys.
Night, everyone. Bye.
Good night.